Good evening. It's, I don't even know the fucking date. Oh, 420. Happy 420 to those of you who celebrate. I don't. Not as a rule. Hopefully the volume is okay and none of that weird echoey stuff going on tonight. It's good to see everybody. Let's make with the I kind of want to keep this camera on the whole time, but I shan't. How's everybody doing? You were all able to survive Eric and Don Jr. doing their best to pass themselves off as not just human beings, but content human beings who were doing good for the world. They were at a fundraiser for St. Jude's Hospital. They were definitely not collecting remnants, bags of biohazard remnants at the back door of St. Jude's Children's Hospital to ingest or smear on themselves. They looked, maybe they were high on life. I don't know. It's pretty. Oh. Pretty intense. It's a pretty intense look. That's the best I can do. I can't match it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Don't want to do it. I know you all probably been looking at this for a little while now. I wonder if it's fake. I mean, it looks like they just combined one. You know, maybe they took like 8 or 9 images of them and pasted together the worst elements. But they don't look tired. I mean, they look on the ball, ready to get shit done. You know? And there's something about, I mean, Don is, you know, whatever. Don is mildly stroking out or whatever, but Don at least kind of looks human. Like an abhorrent, terrible human being who accidentally glimpsed too long into the abyss. And now, like, one eye is twitching a little bit. And if it's like Speed, but smile. And if he doesn't smile, then the bus is going to explode. But then, of course, he'd immediately stop smiling. Because I don't know if you know this, but Donald Trump Jr. likes to watch buses explode. Especially if they send more injured children to St. Jude's Research Hospital, which he can fund and also reap the benefits off the rear loading dock. But Eric, there's something special about Eric. There's definitely something special going on there. It's hard to put my finger on. He's got it's a little Preacher from Poltergeist 2. That's kind of what I'm getting there. You all gonna die. You are all gonna die. Like I could see him doing that. I guess he's wearing a St. Jude's pin. So it's got like a little baby on his collar. It's great. This is great stuff. It's almost as good as, not quite, but almost as good as if, say, a particular state that I'm not going to mention by name, but you can guess. I mean, whenever anyone says, hey, this particular state or a particular state did something particularly idiotic, you can kind of guess what state it is 9 out of 10 times. So this particular state, 40% of the textbooks that were submitted were rejected because they contained elements of critical race. And these were math textbooks. They contained elements of, they had Common Core, and they also apparently contained elements of critical race theory. Something like 50 of the textbooks out of like 100 and some odd ones that are submitted for the state were rejected. But more interesting than any of that to me is like just looking at this picture. Ron DeSantis. First of all, was this St. Patrick's Day? Like, when was it? No. I don't know why he's wearing a green tie. No idea. But he really, like, he reminds me of somebody. And I think it's pretty clear, like, who he's kind of learned how to stand and sort of what facial expression to wear. I think he's taken tips from a particular person, and it's not me, but he's got a look going on, and that look says, guess who's going to be running for office in 2024? And do you really think like Joe Biden is going to get elected for another term? Here's the thing, right? Like Joe Biden is definitely not going to get elected for another term. I mean, there's no way, right? Somebody else is going to get elected. Who is going to be the Democratic frontrunner? Who is it? Like, can anybody think of who, like right now, think who the Democratic frontrunner would be? It's not going to be, so obviously now we're going into opinion here. I don't think it's going to be anyone who failed in 2016 or 2020. I don't think. Like, I can't imagine. Maybe Pete Buttigieg gets back in there. I don't know. I mean, he was kind of a shitty. If that's the best that we got, then we're in trouble. Because we don't have the anger of 4 years of looking like complete fools on the world stage that we had in 2020. And there's no way, I mean, if Biden even makes it, there's no way that he's going to get reelected. All right. For sure. I mean, obviously, if Trump decides to get back in the ring, I guess he's a shoo-in. But let's imagine for a moment that he doesn't. Like, there's no way that Ron DeSantis does not end up being the Republican frontrunner in 2024 if it's not Trump. Like, look at all the terrible things he's done. His resume is perfect. He spent the last, what is it now? I don't know how long he's been. It's been longer than like 12 years. But it's been a long time that he's been basically just like doing shitty things that he could pass off as, no, this is essentially like getting a gold star. I don't know. Like, and then it all comes back around to that canard about Trump being so incompetent that, and I hate this, and like we saw this a lot. Obviously, once he was out of power, I didn't hear a peep of it while he was in power. But everyone talking about how the adults in the room were keeping Trump in check. he didn't know it, and the American people didn't know it. Nobody knew it, right? And nobody would admit to it while they were serving, or even after they were serving. And some of them won't admit to it now, unless they're publishing a book. But then when they're publishing a book, then of course they're like, oh, no, don't, y'all, I had your back, America. Like, I know it seemed like we had an unhinged buffoon making decisions, but no, I would never have let him do that to you. I'm trying to think of in football terms here. Maybe somebody can help me out. It's the running back, right? No, who's the defensive lineman? I guess defensive lineman. Who's the defensive lineman in football? Would be the defensive lineman. But we had somebody there, like a certain type of person, a class, a general, a chief of staff, right? Who all has written books since Trump left office, exposing Trump. I'm not counting like Mary Trump. I'm talking about ex-cabinet members who will never now be let back into the fold. But maybe they would be let into the fold of a DeSantis government. What? Are you serious? Are you sure? Is it soccer? What's everybody's game here? So what's been going on the last week with me, you might be wondering. I did a video. I did a live video on the other channel. Is this not going to go away? You're not going to go away, are you? I have to make you go away. Is this not going to go? I got to make you go away. I did a video on the live channel. I did a video on the Finish and Sailor channel. I did it live, which felt good to me. Like that felt like I enjoyed doing it, and I want to thank you and really everybody who was there for. Like there were a couple of trolls, which I didn't really know. I didn't really know about until afterwards, or until after it was already cleared up. Although I did see a couple of the symbols. But I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the output of it. Like it actually made me produce something and think about something in a way that I didn't actually get sun, Lexi. This is just the LUT I'm using here. I'm going to remove the LUT. You're going to see, ready to see behind the curtain? The LUT's going to go away. And you're going to be like, oh, gosh, that camera looks cool. And then I'm going to remove the LUT and you're going to go, oh, no, doesn't look so cool. The LUT is gone. All of a sudden, this is just a regular old video camera. And the lighting's all over the place. And my skin is pale as hell. Put the LUT back on. There we are. We're back in cinema paradise. I can overcharge the LUT. Sometimes you get too much LUT. That's a little too much LUT. It does something to the texture on my face. Look at this. Look at that. It gets every little. Oh my God. It looks like I have an affliction when the LUT is overpowered. When the LUT is gone, well, maybe a little rosacea or something, I don't know. But it's not so bad. But when the LUT is in full swing, get that man to an ER. Around 64% is where I'm liking it. Audio is a bit crunchy. I don't know what that means. Crunchy. Can you give me more detail? More detail than crunchy. You think I don't have a ring light? I've got a ring light. Crap, what is with this audio lately? It's peaking or muffly. I don't have echo cancellation on. And going, oh, okay. Oh, I think I know what it is, actually. I'm going to fix it. Give me a moment. All right. Hold on. Okay. I wonder if that's better. Does that sound better? I don't have good luck with the audio lately. I don't have I haven't spent as much time, I think, on this, like prepping for the stream or like working on stuff for the stream as I used to. So I just kind of roll the camera and then hope that something comes to mind. Like,
I don't know if that thing that they just did with the COVID is like panned out or not, but if it did, that's like somebody should probably be looking into that. Like, I don't know if that thing that they just did with the
you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I noticed this, Chris, and like when I posted this, it didn't even show up in the Discord. I don't know why. I had to manually do it. The bot did not pick it up. And I don't understand what the problem is. I never understand what the problem is. But so I did a new version of, okay, here, check this out. I was thinking that somebody really does need to be looking into that, especially with the 2 new variants. All right. No, Pivy, I've got like stacks of this stuff. I've got so many of these. Look, you don't like that guy, and I understand that. But if you don't like that guy, imagine.
Okay, then last question probably. What happens if we don't do anything?
Imagine watching this.
It's hard to guess. Communism's never worked and is not going to work because it's based all on false premises about how human beings and society operate. This is just another version of communism.
So the question that was being asked there, in case y'all don't remember, like, what was it? No, wait, no. This was this was about socialism, right? Being another version of communism. But I have hours of James Lindsay. He's going to become my new Jordan Peterson. There's lots of stuff. Hey, there's lots of stuff I didn't know until fairly recently about Michaela Peterson that maybe you all know, but I didn't know. But apparently, she was like dating some guy who was like a groomer or a trafficker or something. His name's Cobra. Something like that. She only eats meat, so that's how she gets all her great ideas. I broke my vegetarian streak last night. I was vegetarian for over a week. Well, I'm like I said, I think we talked about this last week, but I'm waiting. Look, it's not incumbent upon me to stop hate watching anything. It's incumbent upon the visionaries, the Imagineers of the world, to come up with a way to differentiate between a hate watch and a genuine watch. Well, look, I mean, I personally don't view vegetarianism as something that it's like you have to do it 100% or you might as well not do it at all. Right? Tell me, I went back to it. It's not like I had one non-vegetarian meal last night. And was vegetarian again today. I'm going to keep doing that. It was hard, man. It was hard. I was walking around the neighborhood a couple of days ago, and the weather has been so good that everybody's grilling. And unlike, I'm not sure why I still have this scene up. Should we instead, can we bring this in? We can't. Oh my God, we could make this just like a bunch of stuff. This is going to be an insane screen going on here. We got Michaela Peterson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of the paradoxically defined words in the English language. Michael Keaton, missing out on a SAG award, being in the bathroom. No, I was at a Mexican restaurant, and I got fajitas. So it wasn't even great. It wasn't like it was something that I just could not resist. But I saw Morbius. Let me talk about Morbius for a minute. I'm talking about Jared Leto. I'm so glad that he committed to the part to the extent that he did. I'm so glad that he decided that he was going to stay in character. He was going to go full method for Morbius. And apparently, go to the bathroom, not walk to the bathroom as a fully able human that he is, but walk to the bathroom using the crutches that his character used. Until apparently they got him a wheelchair, even though for a large part of the, he's only on the crutches when he, spoiler, he's only on the crutches when he hasn't fed properly. So most of the movie, he's fed properly. So I don't know why, I guess just in the scenes where he was on crutches, he decided that he had to follow through with that. I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do to justify it, even if he had the entire movie, even if for the entire movie he was on crutches. Like this, I remember reading an interview with Hugh Laurie, and he does, Caroline. It's really bizarre to watch. Whoops, here, gotta move this out of the way. Can't. Yeah, he's got a cult. And kind of one of those Fire Festival islands. Hey, KJ, how are you doing? What was I going on about? I was going on about something. Morbius, but something specific. I'm not on it tonight. Here's what I was hoping. I was hoping, every time I tweet about Elon Musk, Hugh Laurie, that's right, that's what I was talking about. I'll get back to Elon Musk. I read an article with where Hugh Laurie stated that, when he played house, for some reason he just kind of did it the way that would feel natural to him. You know what I mean? And apparently it was the wrong way. So normally, if you have an injury in your right leg, you'd think maybe that you would have the crutch in your right hand to kind of supplement your right leg when you step on it with your right hand. But apparently no, apparently it's the other way around. But he was doing it that way because he didn't know any better until I guess a consultant on the show was like, hey, if this were for real, you would actually have the crutch on the other side. And then apparently he kind of developed a limp just from doing all of those walk and talks through the hallways of that set. But I'm pretty sure at no point did he halt production when he had to go to the bathroom because he was like, I got to keep walking with this cane. Oh, get out of here. Should we leave KBJ up? a little bit longer. So Morbius, I don't know. Jared Leto is in his 50s, right? Or he's 50. He's older than I am. And he looks like a fucking dreamboat. He looks he looks almost no different than he did in My So-Called Life, which is really, really bizarre. And I remember, because I also am of an age, I remember watching My So-Called Life, thinking, holy shit, that kid is good looking. Of course, Claire Danes, beautiful. But I also remember thinking, I don't think this guy can act. I think he's just there to look good. I mean, you learn to act. You're a pretty good actor. But he's not even, like, he's buff as fuck, but he's also, like, long and lean, which, you know, a lot of times you get those, it's the opposite of the Rogan effect, where it's kind of like you kind of fold into yourself and, like, yeah, you get muscular, but it's like your muscles almost pull you into a kind of ball like this the older you get. He's still, like, I don't know, it must be, I don't know what he does, but he looks incredible. That was the highlight of the movie for me, was how good Jared Leto looked. And so to be fair, it was not as bad as everybody says that it is. It was, had I gone in with no expectations at all, there might have even been some things about it I liked, because unlike most Marvel movies, it was not the universe hangs in the balance. Okay, I'm gonna close KBJ. It was not a case of the universe hanging in the balance. It was a case of this man is fighting against himself and his self-imposed issues, which were very much, he was bit by a bat. He had this kind of cage full of bats. He behaved like a bat. He had powers, right? He had actual powers. He was a genius in his cave doing experiments. But this was Marvel. This is not DC. So he was not Batman. He was Morbius. So anyway, what was it like him against, what was it, like the 11th Doctor Who? I don't know, the 12th Doctor Who? Who was the Doctor Who before, who was the Doctor Who? Was it before? Was it before Capaldi? Matt Johnson? The sequences, I think it was the guy that was before Peter Capaldi. Matt Smith. Yes, not Matt Johnson. Yes, Matt Smith. So I got a call. Somebody called in. I didn't even put the email up yet. Were you calling in? People calling in before I even put the email up. That seems bizarre. Let me finish this thought, and then we'll get to the caller. I can't really see the thumbnail very well. But it's S. S is calling in. Eccleston was 9, Capaldi was 12, Smith was what? Smith was 11? Okay. So I guess the point was that, hey, Maddie, how are you doing? That it was nice to not have it be like, hey, the universe is ending, right? Half the universe is going to die. The stakes were not giant. There wasn't like a quip being thrown out every 2 minutes. It couldn't seem to decide whether it was a funny movie or not a funny movie. The guest disappeared. No, the guest is back. The guest is like flipping in and out. I don't know what's going on. Looks like there's issues. Anyway, welcome. Let's bring on the S. S. Oh, I absolutely know who this is. I cannot hear S. But oh wait, there we go.
Okay. Is it everything working? There's a lag, isn't there?
Well, I don't know. The moment you hear me snap,
I heard you snap.
acknowledge. Oh shoot, that's like a 10-second lag. No, it's like a 5-second lag.
Okay.
Something like that.
I'm gonna go upstairs. Block me out. Put me outside of the room.
Wait, what?
Like, put me back in the green room.
Back in the green room. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay. Yeah. That was some serious lag there. But that was Angelica. That's surprising. Anyway, Morbius. I guess she's going to try back. If the lag can be fixed. One of the things I'm always complaining about with Marvel movies is how it always has to be like some tremendous end of the universe kind of thing. And in this case, it was not. It was just like, hey, Matt Smith wants to use his powers to take over the world. And whatever Jared Leto wants to... And also, it kind of presented as like Morbius was a bad guy, right? But that's not the way that it was. Like, Morbius was not a bad guy. At no point did he turn bad. He did not turn bad at all. He was good the whole time. So I don't know what is gonna. Oh, so Václav. Yes, Václav is someone who has called in a couple times before, who lives in Russia. I don't remember where in Russia he lives, but have been wanting to know if he was okay. But I think we've heard that he's okay, right? I think so. I heard he was okay. I heard from him that he was okay. But yeah, I would give Morbius a C. Maybe a C minus. What are controversial Doctor Who opinions? I mean, there's really like, look, here's how it goes, okay? Doctor Who, the best Doctor Who is Christopher Eccleston. That's how it goes. Christopher Eccleston, number 1. Number 2, Tom Baker. Number 3, David Tennant. Number 4, Brian, who was the guy from Withnail and I? I don't know. Does it really matter once you get beyond 3 or 4? Jeff, it's funny that you mentioned this. That was movie number 2. Almost went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. I definitely want to see it. I'm a little worried about like it not resonating with me because from what I've seen of it, it has a pretty intense, seems like it has a pretty intense vibe the whole time. I am very interested in seeing Data all grown up. Short Round. Fucking love that guy. I don't know. I think it's a shame that he disappeared, right? He wasn't in any of the follow-up Indiana Joneses. He was one of the best. He was fantastic. What's this, Amy? David Tennant and Capaldi. I saw, I don't know what it was. This must have just been a tweet, but it was Peter Capaldi as a kid, like meeting Tom Baker. and then meeting another Doctor Who. I didn't realize Peter Capaldi was such a huge Doctor Who fan, but that must be really, really cool. You're telling me Richard Grant? Uh-oh, I'm getting a spinny. I am getting a spinny. Why am I getting a spinny? Shit. I don't know if shit's still going here. Richard E. Grant played a version of the Doctor? Email unread. Hold on. Let me read the email. Well, I'm not going to be held captive. I refuse to be held captive. And yet I'm going to my inbox right now. Oh. Did I send? Here's what we'll do. Bring. Let's reply. Like this. I'm not used to getting the link now because it's always the same link. So I have to actually get the link. Copy the link. Oops. Oh, don't want to put it there. Jesus. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh, Jared Leto has some muscles. Jared Leto has serious muscles. And there was a scene where he was supposed to be all withered, like doing the mechanic from Christian Bale's Mechanic. But it was obviously like CGI'd. All right, so I think we may have multiple guests coming on, which will be cool. But so we'll see if it works with two people. Q, waiting for you. And while we're waiting for, look, it's Angelica.
Hi again. I was trying to jump in when you were talking about Morbius, just because I'm like, yeah, I have like everything about that movie and everything about Jared Leto was just multi-layered on criticism, but yet actually exceeding the very bare minimum expectations that I had. But now we're talking about Doctor Who, I think, and then we're back to Jared Leto. So
It's all over the place. But how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I was in the basement downstairs, in the new office that I have, which is really nice. But now I'm upstairs because that was a basement. And I was actually trying to get a friend of mine to join the podcast, another ASMR artist to join the podcast, but he backed out because he was like, no, my lighting isn't good right now, but should I? And I was like, yes, you should. It would be fun.
I bet I can guess who it was.
Probably. Maybe. Yeah, probably. You could. The first, yeah, you probably have it in your mind.
My guess would be ASMR Node. That would be my guess.
What an interesting guess.
I'm good at that. And also Q is calling as well. I mean, like I think I can have 4 people on at once. Is there no way you can't convince Node to call, huh?
I mean, that's why I was bouncing back and forth between the rooms, was because we were talking on text, and then we were also like trying to like figure it out essentially, because he was the one who came up with the idea. And I'm like, I don't like the fact that you came up with this interesting idea and you just ripped it from beneath my feet, because I'm like, I'm not even the one who asked. And then he was all like, oh, well, whatever. Oh, wait, I shouldn't be saying all this though, because he's like watching. So he's like watching me talk shit about him. So
This is what is weird about like live streaming in general, right? Is like if you are just talking and then you just get into this place where you're just like having a conversation and you're not really thinking about the fact that like, look, there are 19 people watching right now.
like actually 19. It's like being in a room and then 19 people watching you, like before a platform It's just you can't see their faces.
I don't
So
know if you can wrap your head around how many people that is. Pivy,
mhm.
that's your brain is in the gutter. It is a neat lamp that people are commenting on your lamp.
Oh,
That is a cool lamp.
it's a very antique lamp. Thank you.
Yeah.
The light bulbs on the top don't work, but the base does. So I'm like,
Well,
and
that's
that being
stupid.
said, when Pavy ended up saying, "Well, we can have 4 people at once," your mind was in the gutter because all I was thinking was, "Oh, technically speaking, you could have like a 4 panel going on."
That's
Meanwhile,
probably what Pivy meant. That's
I'm
probably
going to
what Pivy meant.
Ivy right now and say perhaps not, but perhaps yes. And if not, then I am the only innocent party in this whole affair, thinking that this is just talking about a technical aspect.
Well,
That being said, on a Doctor Who comment, I do have a thought, and that is that the Ninth Doctor was the best, and I have a very, very strong feeling about that.
that's
Very strong.
Eccleston, right? That's Christopher Eccleston,
I
the
think
eared
so.
guy.
I
You
think
got the ears.
yes. Big
Yeah.
ears, big nose. He was the one that kicked it all off. He was only there for like maybe yeah, he was only
One
there for a season.
season.
How many
Yeah.
episodes that was? I think it was like 9. But I remember feeling really heartbroken when it transferred over to David Tennant, who I also really liked. But then by the time they got to Matt Smith, I stopped watching because I was like, I'm done with this. I can't stomach it anymore.
Hold on a second though. Q, please call. Please. Like it's really, you know what's fun is when like 2 people call
Mhm.
and then I get pushed out of the conversation. I love that.
When did that ever happen? When does that usually happen to you?
um
A bit of like
it's happened a few times, but the most notable time was you and Indigo.
my
But
girl Indigo.
I didn't even understand what language. I was so out of the loop in
It's
that particular exchange where you guys were throwing terms back and forth. I don't
it's
follow.
iteration with each iteration of a new generation, especially with the technological advancement we're seeing, you're starting to see communication as just vibrational frequencies, as they always were, but it's just so much quicker now that it's just like you don't even need words anymore. All you have to do is just vibrate, and someone else vibrates on that frequency. That's like 3 generations from now, though. Not currently. We're not at that level. And then in 3 generations, the vibrations between the communication, it's like that's all they're going to need to know. And so by that point, I too would also be clocked out being like, I have no idea what these people are talking about. I am a product of my own generation. So I understand your mentality. I've given it thought, and I can foresee me being in your position in the future. It's like I'm seeing a ghost of myself, and it's going to hit me when I least suspect it.
So I'm like a ghost of future you.
Yes. Like, I'm Ebenezer Scrooge, and you're the ghost of future B, I guess.
I notice you have alcohol in your hand.
This is not alcohol. It's adult juice.
I'm just
Adult
wondering if
strength.
that's the first one, or if there have been several.
That also being said, I finally have the live chat up where I'm not like not noticing what's going on in the live chat because I was always like in this like echoless room, and now I'm like, okay, now I can see what is going on.
Look at this. How
Oh,
old do you think I am?
I mean, I thought you were born in 1980.
Nasha's got it.
Obviously, I am incorrect.
Yes, you could take it from my laugh that it is that is
The
off
dust
by.
coming from your throat.
Yeah, that was what sounded like. Yeah, exactly. It sounded like I was choking.
Choking on your mortality.
Who knows what that was from? But oh, good night, Karen. I hope you have a good night. But yeah, no. Everybody know. I think everybody knows how old I am. I'm fucking 49. Ugh.
Which honestly,
No, there's no honestly about it.
I mean, like, from my perception, being in your 40s is actually like what people perceive being in your late 20s or 30s. Like, the misconception people have of being in the prime time of your life, being in the late 20s or 30s, is incorrect because that's pretty much when you just maybe found out how to live your life. But you're pretty much a baby in mind still. Once you hit your 40s, that's when you're actually living your life. Like, that's when you have the ability to fully understand to a certain degree. Like, you're more in control of your life by that point. Supposedly.
Okay,
So
but
that's pretty, like,
I agree that that is often the case, right? But there are also cases where, someone might have control of their life at a much younger age,
Yeah,
right? Um,
of like an exception as opposed to the rule.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I guess, but is that really what, because it is weird, right? Like, it's weird when you look at what a 50-year-old, I have like four thoughts going on at once.
I had that
Let
too.
me
I have
sort
like
them out.
four thoughts come in, and I'm like,
First of all, I could not believe, and I realized after the fact that I actually asked Jeff how old he was last week, and that was fucked up. So I apologize for that, Jeff. But I did not think for a moment that he was anywhere near that age. Um, but there is definitely like this kind of sense that, like, if you look at 50-year-old people who were born, say, in 1910, right, who were the kind of, the 50s and 60s movie stars, right?
Mhm.
Or 40s, 50s, and 60s movie stars. They had a certain look to them, right? And that was uh, not just the wrinkles on their face, but it was a lot more to it. It was even like their body type, everything, right? Um, so it's hard to look at those people and know if I'm just like really, really biased because we've been looking at these people our entire lives, right?
Mhm.
Or if it's like, no, back then when you hit 50, um, now there's fluoride in the water, so we age better or worse or just
Okay,
differently.
I have answers and opinions on all of this. First and
I
foremost, someone
figured.
actually did this. Okay, someone actually did this where they basically said that like why is it that women in their 40s were so much older looking back in the 1960s than they were now? And they were basically saying like how people look much more youthful now. It really is just the style. Like when they ended up doing their hair in that sort of like beehive curl sort of look, and they ended up doing their makeup with the powder and like the red lipstick, 40-year-olds look exactly the way that 40-year-olds in the 1960s did. It's just the style of it. Like older people just understand how to like actually take care of their appearance where they don't look like grandmothers. Not only that, but the culture of the time was be as old as possible as soon as possible. Like look at little kids during the 1910s. They had faces of like old men as like 10-year-olds.
But was that a
So
choice, or was that like?
that's true. That's the whole thing is like they were put into manual labor really quickly, so that ages you. But also, like if you aren't being constantly told to grow up and to act your age, even though your age isn't reflective of a certain type of personality or behavior, perhaps people would look more youthful and have more vitality to them. That being said, as well, I also push back on like Lauren Bacall or like Judy Garland and all of these like, old Hollywood, and not even old Hollywood. They were like, well, yeah, they're old Hollywood, but I'm like old Hollywood is like Lillian Gish and like um what's her face? Whatever. So those sort of like actors without like, the poor technology, the poor film taking care of them and the makeup and all of that, they look just like we do. Like they look exactly like us. Like they just don't have the emphasis on beauty standards that we do. Like Charlie Chaplin looks exactly like we do. It's just his teeth was messed up, unlike Zac Efron, who has like all of these plastic surgeries and facial augmentations that
Have
make
you
him
seen
look
Zac Efron is in some new movie that's coming out, and I think
fire.
this is like maybe. Oh, go ahead.
No, that was the name of the movie.
What is it called?
Firestarter, the one by Stephen King.
Oh, Firestarter. Yeah, the remake of Firestarter. Yes, where he's playing the dad. So Zac Efron is now in the age of
Father.
playing the dads, and he looks. I mean, he looks different. I mean, he looks great, but he looks different than.
There's a new movie he's in with Jessica Alba where that was where I first noticed his face completely changed. And I was like, damn, bitch, like your head is really not in the game right now. Cause it's like I can't even recognize who you are. But yeah, time is like Zach and Cody are 30, they're either going to be 30 years old or they are 30 years old. So
Zac Efron and Cody.
Efron is older than them. So he's probably like in his 30s now. So yeah, that's reasonable. Like he's
Oh, you're talking
father.
about Zac and Cody, those twins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the twins. They're 30 years old now. And it's like, it's just that treadmill of, well, yeah, no duh. Like at a certain point, you kind of get used to everyone aging and it's just a constant loop. but that's where we get into the whole time, like focus on time and chronology sort of discussions. And I tend to, it's like bedtime paradoxes. It's like those are the things that I just kind of love to be hurt by. It's like, oh my God, tell me more. Like the 1970s being 50 years ago now. So they're pretty much what we perceive the 1950s being. Like the
Well,
1970s are the 1950s and
yeah,
the 1990s are the 1970s.
I still make that mistake where it feels to me like 20 years ago was, the early 90s, or
Oh, yeah, yeah.
even the late 80s. Like when I think about that, and when I look at movies that like have a release date of like 2011, I despair, and then I have to have like a moment to myself, or possibly go into the bathroom and cry for a moment.
But I find it curious that you have a benchmark of the 2010s or 2000s because it's like my benchmark is the 2000s. So I think that the 90s are 10 years ago. And the fact that they are 30 years ago deeply hurts me. But that's because that's sort of like my product. That's my time.
Well,
Your,
but
on the other hand, I would imagine that you would think that the 20 years ago was like the 1950s because that's like the product of your time. And then that's not
I was
even
not
bogus.
alive in the 1950s. That No, I think what happens is like that just moves along with you, right? Like that gap, because 20 years ago still feels like 20 years ago to me, right? Like, I mean, regardless of whether I was, oh, look who's here. Regardless of whether it's 20 years ago, and I was 28 or whatever, 29 back then, or whether I was 10 back then, right? Like, it's still that window moves along with me. So when I think about that, I still have those kind of paradox. Honestly, like I feel like I've lived like 3 or 4 lives. It's it's depressing when I like think back on it. I feel like I should not still be alive. It just doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't feel right. And the person that I think about, and like when I see artifacts from that time, I kind of think like, wow, everything has changed so much since then that those people should all be dead. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm those people. Yeah.
I felt that way by the 7th grade. I was like, damn, I've lived too long now. This needs to end. This existence must cease. But
Well,
yeah, you're
when
saying,
I hit double digits, that's when it first hit me. And then I
mm,
remember also thinking like, oh, well, by the time I'm like 22, or actually, I remember like oh,
a
oh,
3-way call.
yeah, we guess who? We have another caller.
Oh my God, is it Indigo?
No, it is
Oh.
someone, well, dare I say, even more integral
Mhm.
to the process than Indigo. It is Q. Q. Q.
Hey, what's up?
IQ.
How are you
Can
doing,
you hear me?
Q?
You
Okay. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're really, really soft for me. I don't know if you're really soft for anybody else. Wait, try saying something.
How's this?
It
Let me try this. Is this better?
that's better. Yes, that is
Okay.
better.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just called in. And maybe Angelica can also answer. I was looking for like book and poetry recommendations.
Stop. Stop.
No, like for real.
That's fabulous. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm making a trip soon, and I'll be going to a pretty cool used bookstore. So
Aw.
I'm just looking for, especially like existential fiction,
Okay.
maybe some philosophy. Anything goes for poetry. Anything that's like worth
First,
reading.
Do you
first,
like
can I say, Q?
literature
You're.
or
Oh wait, sorry. Go ahead, Angelica.
do you like classical literature or do you want something more modern?
Preference for modern, but either will work.
Okay. I don't really read too many modern books. I'll try to like rack my brain for it. Obviously, Dostoevsky is the go-to if you want existential like
I would
books.
agree. Like anything from Dostoevsky, right? Like
The
Notes from
double like
Underground would be great.
What's the title?
wait, which one?
Notes from Underground.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that one's good.
It's not. I mean, like Brothers Karamazov is great, but it's also
Yeah.
like 800 pages long.
Like the double is like
The
I think
Devils.
100 pages or 140 pages. It's not that long, and it's like a really quick, very fast-paced read. So it really engages you, and it's like
And it's got a great
it
title.
messes with your head. What happened?
And it's got a great title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And Richard Ayoade, I think, was the one who made the movie about it with Jesse Eisenberg, which I thought was pretty decent. I think it captured the mood of the book.
But Jeffrey Eisenberg.
I like Jesse Eisenberg. I
Oh,
had a
see,
crush.
I'm not a Jeffrey Eisenberg fan. Q, can I mention? I really like your hair, and it looks like you had
I
a
do like-
pen that was the exact same color as your hair.
Oh,
Was that?
Yep.
and I think your
I-
eyeshadow too, unless my mind is playing tricks on me.
No, not wearing any eyeshadow. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
purple. It's my favorite color.
Eyeliner? Is it?
Yeah.
Are you-
it's highlighter.
Oh, okay. Is that purple also, or is that?
Nope.
I think it
black.
might be the shadow. Yeah, I think
Ah.
it might be the past. But yeah, you're looking very beautiful today. Like, I love purple hair. I was even thinking today how I saw a painting from one of the people that I follow on Instagram, and it was like with a girl with purple hair, and I was like, if I had like the discipline to take care of my hair, I would dye it purple. I just don't have the discipline, and it's just gonna end up looking like my hair will end up looking like a troll doll if I end up going for that. So I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I dye my hair brown.
What?
Wow, you're
You dye
such
your
a
hair?
rebel, man.
Looks great.
What? Are you kidding me right
Yeah.
I thought you actually had salt and pepper.
It's very well, no, my hair is salt and pepper, but the
Actually-
ratio of salt to pepper is
Mhm.
not the ratio that's actually being represented
Oh.
here. On my head it is, but most of my beard, my mustache is not. I don't know.
I've noticed that.
More of
like-
this is white, right? Like than is actually white here, and especially this. This is.
I don't
very
know
white.
why facial hair turns white faster than actual like head hair. Cause like
God hates us. I don't.
like every adult man that I've seen as they age, their beard is the one that, or their facial hair is the one that turns white first. All of them across the board, but their hair could very well just be completely black. Like that's how it is with my dad, where it's like his beard is whitish, not completely white, but whitish, and his hair is jet black. So, I have
Oh,
no idea
hey, guess what?
what. Oh my God! Wait, is that?
Indigo, you're on
Hello?
camera.
Oh Jesus!
I knew it! Oh my
Wait,
God!
hello? Wait. Can you hear me? This is so weird.
Mhm.
Am I on here? Am I actually on
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
on, let me
you're
You're
on.
here.
Side, cause like
Okay. Can
I
you
don't
hear
wanna-
me?
This is like
Yeah.
the Brady Bunch.
Can you like adjust my video, or do I have to like restart it so that way it's like?
Oh wait. Oh yeah. There you go. You just had to. You had to. Indigo, maybe you
Wait,
can you
should-
Can you tilt
Should I
your
adjust
phone?
my video?
There you go.
There we go. Okay, mine is a little off kilter. Oh wait, I just.
Usually I'm on a laptop. This is the worst angle ever, but I just did not feel like it today. I could not. Oh my
No,
God.
honestly, like
Hi Q.
it's more annoying when people are like,
Okay.
"I need to have perfection."
There's an
Hashtag
echo?
someone else.
No.
Hold on a second.
Love.
Wait, let's determine where the echo is. Does
Let me see
any?
if I can do something.
Well, but I don't know if
Still
it's you,
getting the
Indigo.
echo?
It might
Oh. Well, probably is because I'm a train wreck. But maybe not.
Let's see. Hold on a
Wait, I
second.
keep putting the camera the wrong way.
Echo is exponentially increasing. Is anyone else hearing the echo?
I'm not hearing any echo, but I'm
I'm
also
not hearing it
That's
either.
no good.
I'm not hearing any echo. So I'm not sure. Grace, are you still
Hello?
hearing it?
she fucking whipped out a whole goddamn phone. Is that a fossil in your hand?
Hello?
Archaeologist shit over there, Indiana Jones over there. Oh, thank God! I figured out my camera stick.
Other people are not
Hello.
hearing an echo. So I'm gonna. I think maybe we plow forward.
Now forward.
I did the
And-
first
That's
part
what
of a Rubik's Cube. Look. The daisy formation, if you guys know about Rubik's Cubes.
I solved a Rubik's Cube in my high school when I was a sophomore. They all knew
Yeah.
me as the girl who solved.
When do you
Rubik's
think Rubik's cubes were invented, Indigo?
Shut up! Okay, wait. 1962.
I'm thinking 83. I
I
don't
think
know.
it was early '80s. I think.
Well,
I
whatever.
learned that from. I'm guessing.
I don't know
from
if that's a
the-
good thing or a bad thing that I guessed so late. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Nobody.
I was
Okay.
gonna have my hair out, but it looks so bad.
Wait,
I'm
let-
not getting the echo.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to worry about the echo unless like people talk more about it. But I want to answer
I mean, but
Q's
you just pressed on a
question.
comment about it though. Huh?
But I want to answer Q's question
Sorry.
before before things go off the rails.
Oh, I didn't
as
know
they
there was
might.
a question.
Q, what's your zodiac sign, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm a Capricorn.
I knew it. I knew it too. I was gonna guess. I was like either Capricorn or Aquarius. Okay, Indigo. I'm gonna guess. Okay, I don't even want to like, cause I want to like prove
Ooh.
that I'm like
Yeah, wait, yeah, really, actually
get it
guess.
wrong. And if that's the case, I
Yeah,
still
actually,
don't
guess.
care.
I'm not gonna say it.
Still, okay. I still don't care even if I get it wrong. I still don't care even if I get it wrong.
I don't really believe in
Don't care.
astrology, but
Let
if
the
you get it right, I might believe in it.
This is so
Oh,
high
God.
stakes. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of thoughts. Okay, I think you're either a Gemini,
Okay.
a Leo. I don't think you're an Earth sign. I don't think you're an air sign. Oh, Gemini's an air sign. Maybe a water sign. But honestly, I'm thinking Gemini and Leo. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, so you.
Tell me
This
I'm wrong.
is so ridiculous. You are wrong. I
No,
am
I'm
an
not.
Earth sign, I think.
Okay.
I'm a Virgo. V for Virgo.
I should have guessed Virgo. I'm a Virgo. Oh my god.
I feel like
this
I'm like
makes
the
so much
most,
sense.
even though I don't really believe, I'm the most Virgo, like, but yeah, I am.
Technically,
But the
I was
thing
like-
is, I will say one thing: astrology doesn't consider twins or triplets or a lot of children. Like, so they just all have the same personality because they're born on the same day.
Yeah.
But me and my sister are so different.
I've thought about this. Okay, first of all, I was kind of right with Gemini because they're both ruled by Mercury, which means that you're a very expressive person. I just kind of thought because you're like very, very like, bubbly, that I was like, maybe you're not as like
I'm sorry.
and like fucking rooting as I am. But apparently not. We're both on
Well,
that level. And I should have known because of your poetry.
I'm just like this on here, but in real life, I don't feel like I'm as bubbly. I feel like I'm more like,
Brooding.
Anyways,
just
I
like-
feel like I'm taking up the conversation. I don't want to be doing all that. So, Q, you're
No,
here,
I know
and I guess it's your channel, Sailor. I guess you
Well,
do all this or whatever.
I would
But
like to
yeah.
give Q some recommendations for some
Existential
books to
literature.
really
I
like,
need recommendations
depress
too.
the hell.
But I want to give one.
Capricorn. She needs the fuel for her fire.
really.
Dead Poet Society, I think. That's what I want to read. I'm sorry
Wait.
if that's like the most basic freaking book I can think of.
Indigo said,
But I want to read it.
I'm gonna shoot this one down.
But
The Dead Poet Society.
Q, you're looking for existential, like horror, or
Oh,
more like
God,
sort of.
no. Ooh.
Just existential fiction. It doesn't have to be horror
That's-
specifically, but it could be.
Have you
And
read The
then whatever
Conspiracy Against the
kinda-
Human Race?
I knew you were gonna recommend that. I don't know if I can handle that complete
Oh.
level of pessimism.
Curiosity killed the cat, man. That's all I'm going to say.
It is one of the most depressing books I've ever read, I think.
Yes, I don't
Sorry.
know if I'm down for that depressing, but maybe I'll write it down.
Maybe a
Oh.
On a
notch.
level of
And I know you read that,
Tanisha
Sailor. I know you
Sailor,
freaking read that.
Indigo
Oh my
to
god.
Angelica. How depressing are you looking for?
Dude. Have I read it?
I'm not
Let's
looking-
see.
Oh, look up
Starts
anything
like doing a
Daphne
monologue from the
Daphne
book or
Maurier.
something.
I love them so much.
Gets out his guitar and starts to sing a part of the book.
What happened?
I was just trying to like he was like, have I read the book? And then he's gonna like try to find some clue as to like yes, he has read the book. I'm pretty sure that's what was happening. I think he was trying to get the book.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was looking
Neil
to see if
Gaiman.
I don't
Yeah.
know
I
where the book
applied
is.
to a college that he teaches at, but I didn't get in.
Neil Gaiman is actively
like
teaching at a college now?
At the university. you went
Yeah, it's called Bard, and I applied, but they said no. But colleges better than them said yes, and I'm visiting one of them this weekend. Okay, I'm gonna stop. This is weird. I feel like I'm on the phone with my friend, but you guys don't even talk to me at all. Okay, so let me chill.
to? Lizzie, Gordo, and Miranda. And then, if there was ever a fourth, I will take that fourth character.
Dead
even though
Poet
I think
Society.
there's
That's
fourth.
all I'm gonna say. Can't hear anything. Oh my god, that's bad.
But
missing a lot.
other people can hear, so I'm not sure. I think maybe some people might be having maybe stereo issues or
Like,
Well,
something.
they matter too.
No, everybody matters, right? But,
They matter
if,
too.
if there are just like a couple people having a problem, there's not much I can do about that. If it's everybody having a problem, then
Then that's an issue.
well, then I can't really do anything
So,
about that either.
have you read Daphne
Okay, let me be more
Shirley Jackson?
official. I feel like I'm being too silly. I suggest the Dead Poet Society. That's
Shirley
All right, so you
Jackson,
suggest
Daphne
Dead
Poirier.
Poets Society. Angelica, do you have a suggestion?
Yeah.
you remember like you
Daphne
made that clear.
Poirier or Shirley Jackson. Like those two are my favorite authors. I was obsessed with both of them.
Shirley
Like,
Jackson,
all-
and who was the other one?
Daphne
That's not
du
existential
Maurier.
at all. But I just
Oh yeah, Daphne du Maurier.
Yeah, I
Definitely
love
like
them.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, Don't Look Now. I remember I read a book of her short stories, which I liked because it's short, so it's like you can finish the short stories, but they always
I
have
do
a very
have a
like,
question.
powerful punch to each one.
So what's your question? What's your question, Indigo? Did you say you have a question?
my question. Yeah, I did say I had a question.
Okay.
And my question is for Hugh. I just wanted to ask, what is sorry, this is a stupid. Okay, what has interested you in existential fiction?
Oh,
Because it seems like it would be kind of scary, but I'm being judgmental, so I'm open to hearing about it. Why you're interested? Oh my God. Okay, yeah.
I'm very much an existentialist, but I am not very well read, so I feel like I should work on that, be more well read, and kind of delve more into those ideas rather than just surface level, armchair philosophy, existentialism.
I definitely see where you're coming from. I mean, I kind of feel that way with just reading books in general. Like, I feel like, I would like to call myself a reader, a bookworm, but I don't feel like I'd be doing that much reading. I mean, I am going to go to college for English, so maybe I'll probably do it there. But, obviously I'm not into something as, specific as existentialism. I do want to ask really quickly, what is like a little quick definition that you could give me of what an existentialist is?
To me, existentialism is basically where you understand that life is kind of meaningless, but therefore you give it your own meaning through your own experience. So,
I've heard that before. I think I've searched for the definition before. Interesting. I feel like that's more hopeful than being pessimistic. Sailor.
Well, pessimism
but-
is a form of existentialism. I think like
I'm
You
an
could be-
optimist. Look, I got this book, bro. Like,
I'm an optimist. Hacks into the camera. Oh wow. The
So-
power of optimism.
yeah.
It really gets you through dark days.
who
But-
wrote
Yeah.
that there? Who wrote
Do you
that book?
feel it's more important to read
I
existential
don't know, your sister or
like
something?
writings, or do you feel like that sense of existentialism is already rooted within us naturally, and the writers who have already written about it just captured in writing, in words, kind of basically what that feels like? Do you know what I'm saying?
That's such a good question.
yeah, I think I heard most of it. Yeah, I feel like there are just things I don't know how to articulate in my own brain that I'm
Mhm.
looking
Mm.
to resonate with.
Yeah,
So
that was
that,
a
yeah, that's
Are
that's
you?
why I'm looking for existential fiction. What's up?
But so fiction though, not like not philosophy texts.
I mean, if there's a really decent philosophy text, I have a hard time parsing through really dense philosophy.
Seems boring.
Yeah.
Let me
Like-
think for a second. Or somebody else, you feel free to jump in. I'm trying to think of like
No,
I'm
we'll
trying to think
sit
of-
here in silence while you think.
everyone allow me
Your voice is
Allow me a
the
moment.
important voice.
of silence, please.
Oh my
No,
god!
like,
Like after the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, I'm trying to think of an existentialist fiction novel that's not gonna completely like be. I'm not saying like a starter pack, Q, right? Like that's not what I'm suggesting here. But maybe something that's not gonna totally.
I don't know if it's like existentialist per se. It's more so like dystopic. But Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower really got me
Oh my
into
god,
my
that sounds like
despair.
such a
Like,
book.
I could not finish it. I only read halfway, and I was already having like several panic attacks. But that being said, it kind of hit
I don't
me
know if
where-
that's good advertising.
If someone told me that a book gave them a panic attack, I would be like, I must have it. It's already ordered. Like
Really?
every-
Wow.
Yeah, I think if a book has the
Nope.
ability to
Nope.
sort of give you that kind of a visceral reaction,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
She-
why I like
True that.
Conspiracy Against the Human Race. That's why I like Notes from Underground. Is like
Mhm.
they were both books that I had to put down at certain points and be like, I gotta walk away from this for a while because
Yeah,
it's really doing a number on me, and that's the same reason I liked those books, right? I would also recommend maybe The Fisherman by John Langan
Oh.
Mm.
or Brian Evanson. Wait, it's The Fisherman. It's either Brian Evanson or John. Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh gosh, I feel horrible for not.
Okay, well, while Sailor tries to, have an own existential crisis about not knowing one author's name, well, I can't name drop
Well, I know
even
it's
one
either Brian
that
Evanson
isn't
or
like
John
one that
Langan. I'm just
everybody
not
knows.
sure which one.
I feel intellectually outnumbered here, but I will say, as the least intelligent person, that reading is fun, and whatever you find, you could probably turn it into some kind of existentialist, viewpoint. That could be something.
Yeah.
I try to read every book I read. I try to change it into something positive, which is
I'm not
really
gonna
fun.
lie.
Do the opposite.
I've been watching like children's shows, and I'm like fully getting deep
That's a
into the
pessimist.
sauce with
In the
them,
middle.
being like, oh my god, like this meant way more than it could. I don't even think the writers understood how much this even meant when they were like writing
Wait.
this for the show.
You guys know? Oh God, I don't even know if I'm gonna say this. Now I have to say it. Do you guys know? Wait, what is it called? Like Medea, like person, the Tyler Perry's
Perry?
character. Yeah, this is like
Yeah,
probably the
obviously.
last thing you'd expect me to. Okay, so I was watching a movie with my aunt recently, and I just looked at the sign that said "Allure" on it because that's one of her catchphrases.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm not gonna get too in depth in this. And I kind of had a whole analysis about how I didn't like that sign was up and how I feel like the writers kind of messed up her character by doing that. And it's like you can do that with anything. Like literally a stupid movie that I don't even really like, I could do that. So that's my little positive spin on this.
Mhm.
Is that okay? This is so ridiculous. I feel so stupid. But you can make anything. Okay, what is this that Sailor's doing now? What is
Indigo, I got to say, I completely agree with you in that kind of productive consumption kind of model, right? Like bring yourself to it, and you can. It's like when people listen to songs like "Perfect Day" or "Every Breath You Take," and they're like, "Oh, every breath you take, that's a beautiful song," but really, I mean, obviously, it's not. Or they listen to "Perfect Day," and they're like, "Oh, that's an amazing song about a perfect day," but depending on your approach, it's and what you bring to it, it can turn into something completely different. So, I mean, I agree with that. I'm curious what you said you're interviewing at a college tomorrow. Can you say the name of the college, or is that a no?
I would say for your own privacy, I would dodge it. But
Wait,
I
for
don't
me?
care.
For me? It's about me? Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking
it's-
to me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
what college
I'm-
you're going to interview at tomorrow?
I'm not interviewing at a college. Also, I was listening to what Angelica was saying, so don't just think I'm going to name drop my college because I was. Okay. I was listening, but I'm still going to say the college, but I'm not interviewing there. I already did the interview and I already got accepted in, which is okay. You didn't know that. That's fine. But it's called Dickinson, and it's in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be living in dorm number. I'm just kidding. I don't even know yet.
Where in Pennsylvania?
I'm gonna be living in dorm number. This is my school ID.
So actually, it's funny. I was in laundromat today, and I was speaking with this guy who's running here in New York, and he told me the correct name, which is Carsdale. I didn't know that. I thought it was Carsdale. I kept saying a bunch of different things, but I love how I can just like go off random detours. But yeah, anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm going there, and wait, yeah, that's it. That's the whole answer.
So you're going there. That's
Nothing
it.
else to say.
That's your college. That's it.
I hope.
Okay. And you'll be starting in the fall.
Yes. I'm
So-
excited. I'm really excited.
Well, you should be. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
As far as like, I'm not a big, as far as poetry, Q, I don't know that I can help you out that much because I'm not a huge poetry fan. I mean, I like it, but it's not what
Me
I'm.
either. I feel the exact same way.
So I would.
I shouldn't have assumed.
I agree with everything
I'm
you
looking
say.
at the chat right now. Can I ask what your pronouns are by chance?
Me? Yeah, they,
Yes.
them.
They, them. Okay, my apologies. I've been referring to you by different pronouns. I'll keep that in mind. Also, back to poetry. So, are you specializing in like literature or American history or like British history, or like what exactly are you? Do you have like a concentration picked out, Indigo?
What? Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me. I'm sorry. I literally got scared when you said my name. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Sorry. It's just you were talking to Q and then you're talking to me. I couldn't follow it. I'm
It
sorry.
was like a
Anyways.
curveball at the end.
It was like a.
Yeah. I was like, you know. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I'm majoring in English, if that's what you were asking. I'm trying to remember the question.
True, but it's like,
wait.
does your school have like those concentration things where it's like it makes you like specialize in like one particular aspect of English, or is it just like a broad general, like you are studying English and that's it?
Well, okay. So I'm not well versed in college stuff, but I did see, I think, and I looked at a lot of college websites, so I could be wrong, could be at another college, but I see that you can take concentration in creative writing, which is something that I would be interested in doing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I love that. Yeah. No, creative writing is the most fun, and also like it's the most fun, but it's also the easiest to get school with. Like, go with it. Yeah, it's just like especially with your writing, since you already have writings like already made up. Like, if you ever don't want to do an assignment, all you got to do is.
Bro, I was writing today. Hello. Hello. Okay, wait.
Oh, did we lose you?
No, I'm still here. I'm still scared. What?
Yeah.
Hello?
You being funny?
Can you hear me?
Funny?
No, I'm not being funny.
Well,
on her end.
I'm always being funny. What?
Let me Q. Can I give you a couple more recommendations?
Yeah, I feel like we're losing.
Just right on up there.
So I know Angelica mentioned Shirley Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We have always lived in the castle.
And Indigo mentioned.
So I know, honestly, Shirley Jackson. You will love Shirley Jackson. My favorite book. We have always lived. What's that one? I always mess up the title.
We have always lived in the castle. I literally just said
Miss
it.
Jackson.
Like, I love that book so much. It was like my comfort book. It is so good. Like, you will love that book. It is so good, and it's an easy read. It's like 120 pages as well.
I would agree with We Have Always Lived in the Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Her short story collections are great.
Yeah. The Lottery.
Bro, that sounds sad. That just sounds sad.
Oh man, she wrote The Lottery. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
that gives you an idea.
Wait. What is that book about?
It's about the lottery and whoever wins gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I didn't know that book. I'm thinking of another book. I want to say that book I read was very obscure. So
I'm gonna. Oh wait, I'm sorry, Angelica. I think you asked a question. Sorry.
Didn't she write Matchbox Girl?
I don't know. Is that must be a short story? Is it?
It was a short story. Yeah, I don't know if she wrote it though, but that one was a sad story too.
I don't 100% know all like the names of all her short stories.
Same. It gets lost in the fold. Like, that's how I am with a bunch of writers. It's like,
oh my God.
I remember it. I just can't organize it.
Q. I would also recommend anything by Paul Tremblay. It's kind of a horror. It's a kind of a horror book, but it's like it's a meta existential kind of horror book called Head Full of Ghosts, which I thought was really, really good. I know you weren't saying horror specifically. I don't think it's that scary, but it is like it does interesting things with the format, kind of like House of Leaves did, in a way. And by the way, the fisherman was John Langan, not Brian Evanson. But I would also recommend anything by Brian Evanson. Father of Lies, really good. The Glassy Burning Floor of Hell. Right, like Brian Evanson knows how to name a book. you know what you're getting into.
Does. He really does.
When you get a Brian Evanson book, you're like, yeah, okay, I think I know what this is going to be about.
Totally.
Does anybody else have? Last Days, which is also by Brian Evanson. I thought it was really, really well written.
It was totally.
I'm going through my Audible stuff.
Of course you have Audible.
Broseph, if you want to get like really existential, Morbius. You got to get on that Morbius game. Like, that had me leaving the theater going, oh my God, what am I?
Yes.
Where am I? How am I? It was
there one specific event that caused you to be an existentialist, Hugh, or did was it just a accumulation of time of what of things happening?
An accumulation of time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when I'd had my like quarter life crisis about how I was so insignificant in the universe at like 16.
Oh.
I don't know. I was like, well, I have to give my own meaning to being alive, or I don't think I can continue to live. So that's kind of
God.
how it is. Yeah.
I feel that. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That is rough, Q.
Yeah.
And
I
I don't.
was supposed to do it.
I'm good now, but it was really rough at the time.
I don't know. I think honestly, like, I think it's like a technological age, and I also think it's like the fact that our lives and our social lives are pretty much like online. But before you discover being online, and also when you have to go to school, it's also like hell, like literal hell. I think everyone's having these as teenagers, if not as like preteens. Like, it's not uncommon to have like a complete existential crisis and be like, well, damn, like, why even go on? And it's just like the standard. It's like not even like something to be like, it's like literally just like, no, like, yeah, 1000%, been there, done that. Literally, like, we're in the same wavelength right now, like basically just coasting through life, just like
Jesus.
a dolphin. Jump
Bro, like, this is why I cannot be coming on this
back in
freaking
the
calls.
ocean.
Like, this is too much for me to handle right now.
we
Like,
literally,
sometimes I
literally
avoid.
the pretext before you jumped in was, I need some existentialist literature and poetry immediately.
Oh, okay.
Indigo jumps in, girl, don't even worry. I got like a list. By the end of it, bro, I gotta tap out. Like, this is getting
Oh my
morbid.
God.
It's
This
getting
is a
so
lot.
morbid. You would characterize it as Morbius.
Morbius is existentialist, certainly. In that I walked out of
That
that
was that little
theater.
connection there.
I
I
walked
feel
out
like
of
we're
that
on a TV show
theater
now.
wondering if I wanted to continue.
I took 3 bathroom breaks during that movie, and I'm not lying to you when I say me peeing was a better experience than sitting in the theater watching the movie. Like,
so they
I
weren't
I mean, peeing is nice.
they weren't like
was a
fake
movie.
bathroom breaks. They weren't like, I'm gonna take a bathroom break and then come back in 20 minutes.
In reality, I was just breathing in the bathroom, going, "Why did I spend this money?" And it
Yeah.
wasn't even. But it's like,
Wait,
why
Morbius?
exactly am I here?
Morbius, yes,
Mhm.
Morbius.
I don't want to. I'm not gonna watch that. Thank you,
It's a
guys. Thank
very
you for telling me
clever play
everything not to
on
read
words.
and watch.
Jared Leto's 50 years old. 50.
Oh my God!
50.
Wait,
He's older than
50.
I am.
wait. What?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. This is what I
No,
thought. I was
no,
like
he's 50 years
Morbius with
old.
Jared Leto, but I thought that I was gonna be a joke when I said that. But there's actually a movie called Morbius and it has Jared Leto in it.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes,
There was
it's
a-
Okay.
everywhere. But obviously, commercialism is failing. Gee, I wonder why.
Ooh, that sounds dark, deep.
So-
Like me.
Hashtag deep.
So when it comes to poetry, does it? I mean, I could make some basic recommendations, but I can't.
Did you hear my poetry before?
Yeah, I liked your poetry. Indigo.
Q, you must read Indigo's
Yeah, well, I wasn't
poetry.
asking you, was I?
It's the only way.
Obviously, you heard it. You were
You are.
there. I was asking Q.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've heard the poetry you've done on here when you've called it.
Yeah.
Should we
Thank
adopt
you.
the hand raising system?
What?
Make
Excuse
this
me,
really
sir.
like a
I'm the
Zoom meeting.
teacher. I'm the owner of this
System?
house. Okay.
Is this authoritarian? How dare you? How dare you try to corral
me,
us
Mr.
under a
Sailor.
system in which we have to ask permission
I have a
to
question.
speak?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
No.
right. No. We are apes. Apes.
You just said because
with
we're
the
overpowering.
vocal
Can I mute channel? I don't know
guttural
if I can
sounds
mute.
from the background.
Oh, I can leave, honey.
No, don't do
I'm
that
entertaining
thing.
everybody.
Don't do that thing.
No, don't worry. I won't. Not this time. Unless you're gonna make me leave.
No, I would never do that. So Q, as far as poetry goes, like, I don't know, Rainier Maria Rilke. I mean, I don't know who else to recommend, right? Like, I don't have a lot of poetry experience.
Oh, Anais Nin. I really like her, although she was more into erotica, but I think her stuff was poetry. No, it was short stories. But I think she also did poetry. But I really liked it. It was like another flavor of like how erotica could be, where it wasn't just like for the sensual, sexual, like excitement of it. It was more so like a psychological deep dive of like all possibilities. It was very fascinating. It was like she was unabashed about it, and I loved it for that reason. Who else?
Cruella DeVille, pretty good.
Cruella DeVille, obviously.
I'm sorry, I'm really not offering anything to this at all.
Shakespeare.
I cannot. Yeah. Actually, his work. I read I read Othello.
Really?
Othello.
Mm-hmm.
I did an act where I played 2 of the characters in it. It was really fun.
Very nice.
Good stuff. What?
Which character did you play in?
I played. I don't freaking remember. I played just 2 years ago. Mercutio. No, that's Romeo.
Mercutio?
Damn, you played that during the pandemic.
At least I knew that, okay?
Obviously.
I don't know.
You knew it.
Bethany. Someone. The evil guy, the most evil guy, but not the one who.
Can I ask Q one more question? I know that there was you'd mentioned.
Please do.
You had mentioned the Batman. The Batman is playing on the Discord server this weekend. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're playing it this.
What?
Have you seen it yet?
That sounds like.
Yeah, I saw it. I ended up going in theaters to see it when.
Like honestly,
Guess what?
Is it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I did too.
You did.
I went to the theater, and it was awesome. It was really long. Had a lot of bathroom breaks. Just because they happened, not because I was scared. It was pretty good.
Why
Anyway,
did you
continue.
feel like you needed to offer not because I was scared? Like nobody would have suspected you were scared.
Because you guys
until
are
you
like,
said,
oh, you ever go in the bathroom because you're scared about something? Like, I didn't want to. I'm not you guys, so no, that's never happened to me.
I would never have
watch.
thought that you went to the bathroom because you were scared of Batman.
I would have thought you
Well, we were
bored.
talking about
That's why
it,
you
so
went
I
to the
just.
bathroom.
Yes, maybe bored. Maybe bored.
Okay, well, see, I opened your eyes up either way, so it was a point. It was had a point. Anyways, continue, Q. Sorry.
Yeah, I liked the Batman, but I'm already a Batman fan. I don't.
Are
think
you
he's, like the best character ever, but.
Are you a Robert Pattinson fan?
Yeah, I've been converted.
By Batman or by something else?
I would say The Lighthouse, definitely, but even before The Lighthouse.
What is that movie with the brother?
Robert Pattinson just is unhinged in interviews. He's just he just makes shit up for fun. He just tells them nonsense. It's great. There's an interview he did with some magazine or something, and I think he was just bored. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna show you how I cook this pasta I make, and he took pasta and covered it in cornflakes and microwaved it in the oven in tinfoil and
Is this an
Tinfoil?
established
Oh my God.
cheese.
fact about Robert Pattinson? He gives unhinged interviews. Is that I don't know.
Yeah, he just makes
I knew that.
stuff up. He made up a story about how he went to a circus and a clown died. For no reason. He's kind of ridiculous, which I appreciate. So
Yeah.
One time I had a montage where I pretended like I was his wife.
Say that again,
What?
Indigo. What?
I said one time I had a montage where I pretended that I was his wife, and I had a British accent.
No, honestly.
It was after watching Now You See Me or Now You Get It, whatever. The one movie that he did that I really liked. I think that was the beginning of him doing well. After the
Robert
Twilight
Pattinson
movies,
did
in
not
my
do
opinion.
Now You See Me. That's Jesse Eisenberg.
No, okay, not that movie. It's called Come and Get Me or some crap like that. I know he's in it.
What's
I know
it
he's in
about?
it because that's the reason he did the Batman.
What's it about?
He has white hair. It's about 2 brothers that go bank robbing, but one of them gets
Good
in jail,
time.
and then
Good
he has
time.
to go save it.
Good
Oh,
time. That's a Safdie Brothers movie. That's Uncut Gems.
Whatever. Okay. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much, Sailor, for everything. You're being really kind. You've been nothing but nice this whole call, as always.
Well,
Bye.
did you?
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Indigo, did you notice that
Yeah,
you
that's-
lost your volume sort of inexplicably a couple minutes ago? Why?
No.
You didn't
How
notice
would I
that?
notice that? No.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe I'll change Okay, sorry, I'm just being stupid.
Sorry, what was that, Indigo? Could you
fine.
say that one more time?
You muted her?
I found the mute buttons based on.
That's wild. How could you? That's like chaining her within her own expression. Look, she's finding a new way to express herself. This is the only way she has. How could you? All she can do is physical expressions now. How many phones do you have in your god? Oh, that's a cat toy. Okay.
Your volume's back up, Indigo. It was just a joke.
It better be.
It's just a friendly
Duh.
jibe.
Caught you in the 4K, bro.
She would have caught you. She caught you. She caught you. 4K. Even though that was
I don't know what I'm saying.
thousands camera. It was like 1K, but she caught you.
So
Okay.
Q the
Yeah, I
the
did.
Batman on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
At noon.
Just a random family.
Noon
photo.
Eastern time.
Noon Eastern time.
I'm sorry, bro. Supposed to be listening.
Wait, hold on. I want to see that, Indigo, but I wanted to get word out. Q, do you see what I have to deal with?
Shut up! Oh my god! I show a heartwarming family of photo of my family.
Oh, but
This
I
is
want to see
heartwarming
that
family.
photo.
What the hell?
It's my
Trying to
dad.
Generate Blue Moon.
That's beautiful.
And that's me and my sister. Can you guess who's who?
That's
I'm just kidding.
gorgeous.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I can tell which one is you, but the light was reflecting in such a way that one of those faces was totally obscured.
It was like a horror.
Well, maybe
movie,
that's a
but
good
it's
thing
like
because I don't
the
think
faces are blurred out.
she'd want anybody to see that part of it. Well, because she thinks she looks ugly in that photo. My sister, my twin sister.
Oh, she's
Anyways, that is so cool about the Batman thing. I'm actually off this weekend, which is unusual, so maybe I'll tune in.
Yeah, hey, drop
It's a good
by if
movie.
you'd like to.
I
My
haven't
favorite
seen
character
it yet.
was the rat.
Well, don't give away anything.
I just said my favorite character was the rat. Well, what if I said my favorite character was the Batman? Is that a spoiler?
Did you read the Batman psychology book where it was basically it goes down in the psychology of Batman and all the villains?
I have not read that book.
You
wanted to.
need to read it. Read it. You will love it. Literally order it. It's the best gift I can possibly give to you. Read the Batman psychology book. It goes chapter by chapter, analyzing every villain and Batman himself on their psychology, on where they came from, analyzing their roots in every comic book they ever came from, really exploring like what their psychosis was, diagnosing them, everything.
Do they analyze the psychology of Calendar Man? I would love to know.
I don't know. I only
What the hell is that?
Calendar Man.
Like
Calendar Man is a real
like
villain in the Batman universe. He's like obsessed with dates. It's very. I don't know.
But he can't get one.
I just want
obsessed with them.
Indigo providing commentary on. I think that's.
Wait, what did I say? What did I say? I
You
forgot.
said he can't
What
get
did I
one,
say?
which I thought
You
was
just
great.
said it like seconds ago.
Wait, what did I say? Wait, what?
The
Calendar Man,
date.
he's obsessed with dates, and you said, but he can't get one, which was very riff tracks of you, and I thought that was spot on.
No, but seriously,
Oh,
read
well,
the
thank you.
Batman psychology
I was just
Yeah, I
taking
got it
from my
right down.
experience. So,
I
I
have
can get dates. I just don't go on them.
I have seen, like, I've noticed, like, when I walk into Barnes and Noble or whatever, I've certainly seen, like,
You see me?
I've seen when I go to the philosophy section, there seems to be like a section that is the philosophy of like every comic book character. You're close to being muted, Indigo. I gotta warn you. I'm
It's
sorry.
like I'm in class now. Stop! They do this to me in class.
But I see like maybe a dozen or more of these books that are the psychology of certain superheroes or
Yeah.
just pop culture stuff, right?
Right.
So Angelica, the fact that you brought that up, I guess I'm curious if like there are any other. Have you read a bunch of those or just the Batman one?
What in my mad spree to digest content to fill the inner void, I can't even recall what it is that I've consumed or not. But I'm 1,000% sure that I've watched and read a bunch of things about pop psychology. I just can't think of it right now. That book though stayed with me completely. I mean, like I'm into the MBTI. Like that's pretty much indication of how much into pop psychology I'm into. But I just can't think of anything else right now, not off the top of my head.
You just did an MBTI video.
Yeah. I wanted to double check. I was like, did it change? It did change. And I was like,
Isn't that a college?
college?
MBTI.
MBTIU.
That's where I'm
Welcome
going.
to this university. We have a bowling alley, so
Yeah.
charge you an extra $2,000 a semester.
So what was
Sailor,
your?
did you go to college?
Are you talking to me?
I said
He's talking.
sailor, didn't I?
University of Miami.
Oh, of course. Okay, interesting. That sounds fun.
It was the kind of college where occasionally I remember showing up to like a creative writing class, and there being nobody there,
Like,
and
hey
the teacher
guys,
saying,
hey guys, what's up?
and the teacher saying when I walked into the classroom, like, "Oh yeah, there's a game this weekend. Didn't you know that?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I knew there was a game this weekend." And they're like, "Okay, so nobody comes to class." It's one of those schools that's very like all they care about is their football team.
Mhm.
Especially at the time I went there, I think they're like the Hurricanes were like a big deal back then, and so it
Well, I
rubbed me
guess
the
you
wrong
could
way.
sit down if you don't want to go to the game.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly.
So I'm
Well,
just continuing
but the game wasn't even that day. The game was like that weekend, but
Oh.
they canceled classes on Friday so that everybody could like, I guess, get drunk and prep for the game or something. I don't know what the hell it was. It was.
Like,
It
why
definitely
are
rubbed me
you
the wrong
coming in
way.
here with a smolder?
A small
What's
one.
wrong with you? What are you sad about?
So, wait, who?
That's what I'm gonna imagine the teachers would say to you.
Oh no. I was everybody thought I was stoned all the time. That was.
Hey, what's up? That makes sense. What's up,
And at
guys?
that time, I did have long
I don't
hair. I
know.
would just kind of like wear my hair kind of down like a mop.
Like
Yeah,
the
everybody
beat.
just thought I was stoned. And then I would use it as a
Ew.
shield and put my head down on the desk.
Indigo, what is your hairstyle
Yes.
when it comes to like male, conventionally stereotypical male hairstyles? Like, are you the type that wants it like really short? Do you not like mop tops?
I don't even that word is disgusting. So no,
Mop
I don't even know what it is. But
The Beatles.
that
It's
just
like
sounds
Beatles
weird.
hairstyle.
Mop top.
That's what it's called.
That
They
sounds
always
like
have it look like a mop on
ooey
top of your
mooey
head.
gooey. Top.
Plungy gungy.
I don't want any mop on top of me. That's all I'm gonna say. I do not like that. That just sounds weird. So
Oh, so it's just like
I
the
don't
name of it. It's not the
I don't
style.
hate long haircuts, but it just has to be on the right person. That can't be
True.
greasy
You're right.
and
You're
gross
right.
and stringy.
Let me ask you this, Indigo. Jared Leto in Morbius with the long hair?
That's Russell Brand.
I'm just I only have like one image of the freaking trailer where he's like in a train, he turns into this monster. But I do imagine how his hair looked, and no, gross, disgusting.
Gross. Jared Leto, gross. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly,
Well, I didn't say he's gross, it's the hairstyle, but probably as well.
Jared Leto, he strikes me as like a really grounded, sort of salt of the earth.
That's a lie.
No, I'm serious. I think
Stop.
Really? You actually?
he seems like he'd be a really fun guy to just like get a beer with, and just kind of.
Doesn't he run a cult though?
He does 1,000%.
He
I'm
said
like,
like
okay,
condoms
this
and
is the
tongues
question.
to his freaking
This is the question. For the
friends.
group.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the difference between being egotistical and narcissistic? Because I usually conflate the two, but there's apparently a difference. And I'm like, I would say that's the same thing, but that's my own perception.
Well, one is diagnosable and one of them isn't.
I mean, true, but it's like if you were to meet someone and you were to define them as egotistical, you would also say, in the same breath, like perceive them as also being narcissistic.
I'm gonna let the smart people answer.
To me, narcissism is
You start speaking.
to me narcissism is extreme egotism, sort of, right? So you can be egotistical, but narcissistic. If you're narcissistic, you take it to the point where nobody's experience outside of your own matters to you, or what you're raising your. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean it, Indigo. God, it was a joke. Just talk.
Okay, I just don't want to interrupt you because I noticed I've been doing that, so I'm sorry. Ego. Frick, I forgot it. This because I have so much stuff in my head, and if I don't say it the right way, I'm gonna forget it. It's so good. Okay, ego is an action that can falter, while narcissism is something that prevails. I don't know.
I have no idea what you just meant,
I
but
was gonna say, I think that's a bunch
it
of
sounded
bullshit.
so good. It sounded scrumptious. Like it literally.
Thank you.
It sounded like it made so much sense that I'm gonna pretend it did.
Great, I love that. It did make sense. Yeah, it did.
So
Anyone asks
narcissism
you-
is
prevail.
egotism that just never goes away. That is persistent.
Yeah, lit. Basically, exactly what I was saying. Yes.
I'm gonna just
Yeah, I
Google.
think that's wrong.
I Googled it before.
Okay. Wow. Okay,
Can
Gordon
I-
Ramsay. Like. Okay.
Okay, so egotism is the practice of talking and thinking about oneself excessively because of an undue sense of self-importance. So, that's like I would say it's
That's
pretty
what literally
Yeah,
narcissism sounds like.
So
And the
narcissism
narcissistic is having
just
an excessive
extreme-
weapon.
Yeah, narcissism is just like the extreme version, right?
Having an excessive or erotic interest in oneself and one's physical appearance.
How is that different from what I was saying, bro? Like, how is that different?
Yeah, for me, it's like it's pretty much like, I mean, granted, I get that one is like the clinical definition, and the other one's like more so like a right. But I'm like, it seems pretty similar. A narcissist is egotistical, but they also seek validation and admiration, are highly sensitive to feedback or criticism, and lack the capacity for reciprocal relationships, as well as the ability to self-reflect. That's Jared Leto. He's admitted like all of these qualities in interviews before, where it's like if anyone gives him any pushback on anything, he's like, don't you dare speak like this. I'm a very sensitive person. Then he tries to pass it off as a joke, being like, I'm an actor. But you could tell he's still on edge, being like, I was deeply offended by this. And not only
Whoa.
fire
Don't you-
festival on an island with this whole cult thing going on.
Do you not think that like it's almost a prerequisite to be a successful actor to
Yeah.
have some degree of narcissism?
No, I feel like Laurence Olivier and like all the old Hollywood actors, they did it for the craft. It was like an art expression for them. Like they did it for the sake of being an actor or an actress, just to kind of like portray that sense of like behavioral craft. Nowadays, with the whole plastic surgery looking perfect, like Zac Efron types, Channing Tatum types, it's like now it's very much narcissism, where it's like you don't want to just do it for the craft. You want to do it because you want to be looked at and be on the big silver screen and be admired and watched by the masses. So I think it's definitely changed. I don't think it's intrinsic. I
Well-
think it's just how it's fostered.
I think that no matter what people do, they will always have self-interest.
So what?
Self-interest.
Oh.
Interest.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if they are doing it for the crowd, they're still technically kind of doing it for themselves. You know, they're doing it for a mass of people to like them for doing a certain thing. You know, I still feel like it's focused on them.
Well, but if the interest is like to improve your craft, right, and to excel at your craft, that's still self-interest, right? But it's a different. It's not quite the same as. Okay, go. I don't know if you're
Oh,
pointing.
I was like saying, you're right. Yeah, pointing. Like, yeah, you're right.
It's still self-interest though, right? It's just not like it's a different kind of self-interest than I just want to be the center of attention all the time, or as often as possible. Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of explored in Velvet Buzzsaw, where at the end John Malkovich is like swirling paintings on the sand just for the sake of creating, and it's being washed away by the water, so that way no one ever sees it. So it's
Right.
like when you create
gosh.
something, it's usually just for the joy and benefit of watching something be created. You don't necessarily need people to look at it, and even if you do have people look at it, it's not necessarily out of self-interest. It's more so just out of a sense of like, here's something that you could potentially resonate, that I've resonated with as well. Like it's very much like a considerate sort of element. So I think everything stemming from being self-interested is a very Randian idea, which I've always kind of pushed
Well-
back on. I really don't think that human beings organically or commonly operate on that. Yes, Indigo.
Well, there definitely are things like that. I think there are specific, like, job. Okay, I don't know, like stuff like that. I can't process words right now, but I feel like when you're an actor, it's not like that though. Like, I feel like they know that they're going to be watched. Sorry, my mom just came. I know they're going to be watched.
When it's like the
And
awkward
looked
sort of
at.
pause of like, oh snap, I gotta explain something now.
But yeah, that's.
No, I totally get that. I think when it comes to acting, I still hold that it's like not necessarily self-interested, especially like back in the day when it was like regarded as being low class to be an actor. It was like considered like part of the masses. It was peasantry. It was like low brow. People would like really look down on you if you were an actor. And people still did it because it was a craft. They loved it. They just enjoyed the expression of it. It wasn't necessarily to be watched. It was just to kind of get that urge, that itch out, and that creativity of makeup and wearing clothes and pretending to be other people. However, I think now it's been bastardized by being like, oh, look at me, I'm going to be the next star. And it's like, if you have that stardom and that celebrity mentality, then yeah, it's egotistical.
Sorry, I know it's a back and forth, so I'm not gonna say anything more after this, but I'm gonna say, like, I think that you've actually changed my mind in a way, or at least made me see where you're coming from, because,
Change
like,
my mind.
even in my own, even yeah, the stupid thing. Okay, even in my own, room, I act, I create stories, I do things, and obviously, I hope that one day those stories will be watched by other people. I have that same, oh, I want to be a star, doing interview, blah 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 blah. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, it's never going to be exactly like how I do it in my room. It's for me, and I enjoy it, and I literally make sure that nobody's in here when I do it. And so,
Not only,
like, there are definitely times where people can act, and it's not
not only
fueled
that,
by narcissism.
not only that, sorry to interrupt you twice. That was my bad.
Just kidding, no.
I think
No,
that
no.
I think the whole concept of stardom only is like pushed forward because we are so isolated as individuals, and our means of having like this unconditional acceptance and love from our community is now only translated to if you are successful and if you are rich and if you have that public image, essentially. So I think when people say they want to be a star, in reality, all they're saying is, I want to be accepted for being myself in the most artistic and free way possible. Unless I'm missing the mark. But I'm kind of thinking that that's the underpinning, because if you really think about celebrity, I don't think any of us actually want to be hounded by the paparazzi and live in a
No.
museum, essentially, marrying a bunch of people who have nothing going on for them except their next like chai macchiato or whatever. In reality, all we're saying is, I would rather the people who know me appreciate me for who I am.
Wow.
Q, I don't want to put you on the spot, Q. But I'm about to put you on the
Well, you
spot.
are.
I don't want to.
But feel
But there
free.
you go.
But feel free to
What?
pass the spot back to me. I'm just curious if, well, I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that. Like, as far as like, do you think that the art of perfecting a craft is not another? No, that's a loaded way of phrasing it. Sorry. What do you think about perfecting a craft like acting, or what it says about you as a person?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really think about like actors too much. But I think in terms of like perfecting your craft, I think there are definitely people that don't do it for narcissistic reasons, and I think that also creating a performance or art or whatever it is, I guess, like, inherently, if you put it out in any way, then you want the attention. But I don't know. I don't think that's inherently narcissistic to want people to see what you've made and appreciate it for what it is. I don't think that's like inherently driven by narcissism all of the time. I think what Angelica was saying, like, recognition is really what people are looking for.
And being valued, right? Like
Yeah.
I guess I agree as well, right? Like in that, if you're doing something and something comes of it, fucking great. But if you do it for your own sense of value, and so that if others see it, then they sort of recognize that same sense of value that you have in yourself, right? I don't know. I guess it depends how pessimistic you want to be about it, because, and I'm not a Randian, and I do think that like. I do think that
Who's
people can
Randy?
be both altruistic and selfish. I don't think that people are just inherently just selfish, right? But it does seem to me that like if we're talking about like theater, right, that there is an element there of overcoming something maybe from childhood, right? Like where somebody was a middle child or had some kind of like middle child type syndrome, and they're trying to overcome that in some way. I don't know. Does that sound like a bunch of bullshit to everybody?
No, I think it's a perfect example
No.
down that route. Like, it's a natural extension of people just developing in a way where they're following their true path. Like, I think when someone's being egotistical is when they want like an undue level of praise and acceptance, where they want to be the main character, they want to be the star and shine above those around them. But I think when it comes to theater, I think if you just want to do the craft and be on the same par as everyone else, like, oh, someone else is a software engineer. Oh, wow, what projects are you working on? That's more so an element of you just want to understand people via what it is that they create and produce. And I think like you can see that with Gary Oldman and like Daniel Day-Lewis, where it's like they really enjoy the craft of it. Granted, of course, there's a little bit of ego messed up in it, just because if everyone's always praising you as being this like great artist, then they're gonna end up flaring up that sense of narcissism. But like someone else said, Keanu Reeves is a perfect example of someone who still gives up his seat for people on the subway and still is very considerate of other people and doesn't like it when people like praise him as being anything beyond just a human being who's into acting.
You brought up Gary Oldman.
Love my man. No.
Are you aware
No.
that Gary Oldman?
No. I already know. No. Bad sailor. No.
Wait,
no.
what did he do? I'm curious
He's about
now.
to do it. He's about
I know
to
it
do
killed the cat, but I'm curious.
Gary Oldman was in a movie. The year was 2003. I think it was 2003 or 2005.
Irrelevant.
Starred in a movie with Kate Beckinsale, Matthew McConaughey. Hey, this guy himself.
More than what we think we deserve.
Oh my god. He really is thinking he's gonna run for office with a movie like that in his back catalog. No way.
It's called Tiptoes.
2003.
Like everybody should look up on YouTube, look up Tiptoes movie trailer. It is
it's an abomination.
It's horrific. I don't understand how it got greenlit. I don't understand how it got
Gary Oldman's performance of a lifetime.
It literally says performance of a lifetime. Yeah.
They literally Oscar baited that movie. Like that movie was like it was like The Book Thief, where it was like they wanted the Oscar. They were actually thinking this was Oscar worthy. But when you watch the trailer, you're gonna honestly have like it's like your brain is just gonna want to fight itself to death because it's not gonna be able to support existing, knowing this is the abomination that exists and knowing people actually thought that would be praised.
Little Steps, Tiptoes?
Tiptoes.
Tiptoes movie.
Okay.
Okay.
It's worth a watch. It's like Sean Penn and the Other Sister, right? Like where, and I think that was like what Tropic Thunder was like directly referencing when they were talking about like Ben Stiller and Simple Jack. I think it was.
Yeah.
They were very much like poking fun, I think, at The Other Sister, which is a movie with Sean Penn where he played a mentally disabled person. But in Tiptoes, Gary Oldman plays a little person.
That movie.
So instead of hiring a little person, and Peter Dinklage was in Tiptoes.
Oh no, that sounds weird.
But Gary Oldman literally plays a little person, and it is so unsettling and weird to watch the trailer for. I don't even know if you can find the movie. I don't know. Does the movie exist somewhere?
The movie's not even worth watching.
Oh, I can find it. We'll just see if I have a desire to watch it. But I can find it.
Idea for a future movie Sunday. Tiptoes.
I think we're good. I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah,
but I'll take your word for it. We've already watched we've already had some bad movie nights. We watched Rubber and Troll 2 back to back.
What was the other one?
Troll 2.
Oh yeah. Nilbog.
Yeah.
They're eating
Troll 2 is pretty fantastic.
The Great Towers of Evil.
Are you guys both right now doing Troll 2 quotes? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
No, I just made that up. I didn't even watch that movie. I don't know about it because they were in Happy Meals, I guess. Like literally it.
Have you not watched Troll 2?
Have I? I've watched it.
Okay.
Actually, I haven't. Sorry.
Nope. Very few people have heard of Tiptoes.
and
It's
it's good that they have not. I feel like that is a blemish on all of their careers. And honestly, like, do I feel like they should answer for the movie? I feel like everyone involved with that project, including the coffee man, should answer for that movie. Because the existence of that movie and the idea that it deserved an Oscar, just the two aspects together, the fact that they actually thought this was the performance of a lifetime that deserved
Well,
an
I'm
Oscar,
glad that.
it's like, no, you beg my forgiveness for making
Is it
my
about a real
person
little
with these
person?
images before my eyes. Like, I could have lived my entire life without knowing that this spoof ass movie actually existed. Like, it's an abomination. I don't even understand how it exists. It looks like a movie that another movie would make fun of inside of the movie. It doesn't look
yeah,
like
it looks like one of the fake Tropic Thunder trailers. Right?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, damn.
And this wasn't that long ago. Like,
Yeah, like 20 years ago,
yeah.
which is still within this millennia.
It's how
And
old I
after
am,
that-
by the way.
What happened?
I'm 20. Oh, I was supposed
Uh,
to be my age, I guess.
Wait a minute, no. Oh my god. You got a compound sentence for a birth year. No way.
What?
Wait, were you born in like 2002?
Yeah.
And
2002.
my friend.
Actually, okay, I'm
What?
not 20. I'm 19 because my birthday's in September.
2003?
But still,
Oh my
everything
God,
you said
were born
counts.
after 9/11?
Yeah.
And there
How old
And
did
there
you
are-
think I was? Oh my god.
there are currently 3 Virgos on this call. Does that?
Are you a Virgo too?
Yeah, I'm a Virgo.
And a Capricorn. This is all Earth
I
signs.
don't know. Like,
I've been.
how dare you
been
not
going
know?
Earth sign energy. The 3 Earth signs ruled
I
by
don't know.
Mercury are the ones talking, and then the Capricorn, who's ruled by Saturn, is the one just sort of like responsibly sitting in the corner, going, "I will not partake. I will not be incriminated in all of this foolishness."
Bro, I can't do that. That's impossible
Q-
for me. Oh my
Q
god,
is
my house
watching
has
us
to-
right now, like the same way there was somebody, like a craft personnel or somebody on the set of Tiptoes who was watching that movie being made and was like, "This is a bad idea. I'm just gonna like not be a part of it."
Walks
Instantly.
away. Walks away.
What's
I'll
Whoever
never know their name.
role was offered up to first, probably Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis probably walked away from set and was like, I cannot do this.
I
This is not
can't
work."
imagine that. But I can't imagine that Gary Oldman would have done it. So I guess maybe I could imagine that Daniel Day-Lewis would have been offered it.
Beckinsale, Matthew McConaughey, like these are all big name actors. Big name actors
Yeah.
who all said yes to this movie, which to my understanding is, how exactly does this happen? And the movie doesn't seem like it was that big of a budget. Like,
No.
I like how
Yeah.
you're still talking about this.
it's like the money isn't even there to compensate for the movie itself. So I don't understand how this movie has ever existed. Plot-wise, actual creation-wise.
What if Gary Oldman had been nominated for Best Actor? Like, I mean, if the movie, like, if the culture at that time accepted the movie, it's not totally
Movie
out
living in
of.
a fantasy world.
Listen, if Gary Oldman had
saying it
won
like
an
I know the
Oscar
movie.
for that role, I would have been the Will Smith to his Chris Rock, and I would have just come up out of left field and just keep the Oscar name out of your mouth. Because that movie, the idea that they thought they could get an Oscar for it, still makes me go, who was this confident? Cocky.
It probably wasn't.
And it was not intended as satire. I don't think. I mean, I
No.
can't say for sure, but I don't think that it was meant to be satire. I think it
As
was
far
very
as-
much.
It was 1,000%, especially with Gary Oldman interviews like afterwards, where he was like, "Yeah, the performance was just, I really had to get into the mind and into the body. It was very physically demanding."
Oh, that's
I
tough
was like,
watching him try to
they-
sell that.
They it seems like they played it the straight and narrow, where it's like, no, this was legitimately like a serious film meant to be taken seriously, and I'm like, why would Gary Oldman, even in retrospect, try to defend that movie? He should have pulled a Robert Pattinson and
That's
just
fine.
made it into a joke. Just like Robert Pattinson did with Twilight. Even though Twilight is a cinematic masterpiece, and I will die going to the grave believing and pushing that narrative.
I don't think Twilight needs the
Well-
same amount of people running to its defense as Tiptoes does.
Who is running to the defense of Tiptoes? Everyone, including the cast members, have abandoned it. Did Indigo go to sleep? Oh, snap. This is like
No, I'm
live
still here.
tweet
I just wanted to
like
find a
an
better
avatar.
angle.
You look
What?
tired. We've been going for over 2 hours, and I
I
don't
am
know what
tired.
we've been talking about. I still like
I feel so
looking
much
back on it.
unlike myself.
What was that, Indigo?
I said I feel so much like unlike myself. This is not me.
You're unlike yourself?
Yes,
Why do you think that is?
this is an act. This is not what I already said that in videos before. I mean, live streams.
Okay, but then who are you in real life? Are you what? Like, what about your characters?
Well, I'm still me. Like my character.
Always.
I just feel like I'm in a clown mold.
You're,
Like being extra.
you're on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Usually
Right now, Q is the only one who is acting real. It's like in reality, live streams should only have
definitely.
4 silent people looking at each other. That's the next generation is going to start communicating that way. They're not even going to need words. Once again, it's going to be vibration.
That's kind of scary though.
It's, I mean, for us, part of our generation, but the next generation.
Feels vibration.
It's like, damn, back in my day, we used to use words. Now you guys just look at each other. Like, what are they even saying?
Wait, no, I don't want to think about that. That's scary. Stop.
That would be bizarre. Well, I mean, that's going to be Neuralink, right? We're all going to be
hard
just
for
kind
me
of.
to do that.
That's where I end up having my existential crises.
Okay.
The technology.
So,
I'm like, no,
internal monologue?
no.
You know that in your head?
What
Yeah.
happened?
I don't have that.
You don't have an internal monologue?
No. That's why I gotta talk it out. I
Yeah.
gotta always be talking.
Yeah.
And that's why I talk to myself a lot.
So you don't talk
very
when you
annoying.
talk to yourself. You actually always speak out loud when you're talking to yourself.
Yes.
You don't think in words.
Or I can't hear it. It's very like, it's like not there. It's barely there. It's nothing really. Like I have to say it out loud and it feels real.
Yeah.
I think
That's that. Rat-a-tat-tat.
I think most people think in words, though. Most people.
I feel
Yeah,
like
well,
people
I'm not
think in
most
abstract concepts. Like, I don't really have words going through my head. It's more like Simlish from like The Sims. It's like and it's like I understand what I'm thinking and like the abstract shapes and concepts that are going on, but it's not like words.
I think that might be a disorder.
I mean, how many therapists have told me the same? But do I ever listen to them? No. I'm like, bitch, I'm just an Aquarius moon, all right?
I think that might be a disorder.
Like, stop. Look at my natal chart.
Oh,
It's there. God. Enough with these diagnoses.
I don't
What the
remember
hell is,
well
like,
enough to like
PhD?
quote it, but
Oh.
I do remember there was like some peer-reviewed article about how part of our ability to and I don't think we exclusively think in our language, right? Obviously not. Like babies think before they know how to speak, right? Like you don't have to know how to speak to know how to think, but once you are able to de-abstract ideas into language, then when you're trying to think through things, and again, I'm thinking about this paper that I read, I don't know, maybe a year ago that I don't remember that well. But once you're able to de-abstract thoughts into words, then you tend to use those because they're just convenient, whether you're talking to yourself or somebody else, because they're convenient ways for you to, not you specifically, right, but a person to think through these abstract thoughts that you would then have to de-abstract anyway. But then it seems like then maybe there are people who do that de-abstraction on the fly, almost like real-time translation, right, from one language to another. But instead of one language to another, you're doing like a thought process into de-abstracted concepts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much what I
What?
think. Like, you basically suck out all of the ideas and images and all of the concepts that you have. And if you have that skill where it's like you kind of have always disciplined yourself with trying to like basically practice and cultivate and craft language, then as it goes, you can kind of like splice and dice and just kind of express yourself in the ideas that are coming out. But that doesn't take away from the fact that inside of your head, it's an absolute mess. And so sometimes when there are like all of these ideas and concepts just about to come out, and you can't really think of that one line of dialogue, they just jam up, and you just go, never mind. I'm just gonna
Bro, that happens to
clean up
me
my
all the
brain.
time. I just start speaking gibberish. I'm like, oh,
That
I
happens
do that
to
a
me
lot.
too. Or I
I
will
wasn't
just
speaking.
Oh, I can imagine. That
Bro,
would
what
be
is an
funny.
English?
when people are like, yeah, you're going on a tangent. That's usually because my original thought got sidelined, and rather than complete it, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go somewhere totally different.
Mm-hmm. Just to kind of like, it's like,
You guys see this pink stuff on my face?
Yes, I do. It's kind of cool, but I don't know
I
what's
thought I was
causing it.
hallucinating for a minute. I was scared. I was like, oh my god, bro.
oh, you don't even know what it is?
It's not a filter.
Bro, those snipers are gonna get
No,
you.
it's not.
And at
The
that
what?
angle, I don't know if there's gonna be a kill shot. I think you might have to be damaged
I know,
permanently.
because it's like
Oh,
right on your
no,
nose.
no,
It's not.
Damn.
Okay.
They freaking gonna bust out
Headshot.
your nose.
Ooh. Wow.
Well, this has
Careful,
been
they're on
fun.
you next. It has been fun, sir.
I'm curious if anyone has any thoughts. I hate to. I mean, I'm having fun, but
Well, we
bringing
could
it-
close out by asking Q, did you write any of the recommendations down? It looked like you were writing them down. Like, what did you collect, and what do you think you're gonna go with? Like, obviously you don't have to follow through, but what do you think you're gonna go
Well,
with?
that's a
Ooh,
lot
it's
of
a lot.
stuff. I literally only had 3 things.
Hell yeah. I would do the same thing too. Just like, what was that again? Write that down. But what
Well,
are
that's a lot.
what are some of the ones that you're most excited about? What happened, Indigo?
Oh, I just said it was a lot. I only thought I
Oh.
only heard 3. Anyways, continue.
I think the Brian Evanson intrigues me, and the psychology of Batman, because I like what you've read on stream, Sailor, for Brian Evanson.
Yeah, I've read a couple of his short stories, and his
I
short
like
story
it.
collections are good. But I like his novels as well. So, and he's creepy. He's creepy as hell.
Is it okay if I ask a couple questions? They're about like,
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
well, they're specifically about like this channel stuff, kind of stuff. So, are there plans to announce the writing contest soon? Maybe. Do we know?
Yes.
What contest?
Yes.
Okay.
What is that?
I mean, plans. That's. I mean, it's just a matter
What
of
is that?
settling on the writing.
Oh, I thought he's. Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
we want to
My
do
bad.
another one. Or I don't know why I'm saying we, but yeah, there's the desire. Are you sensing, Q, that there is a collective desire to move forward with that?
Yeah, it seems
do
like
it, but I would
people are
lose.
asking about it. They're here and there. Wondering
Okay, well
if it's
let's
gonna
do
be
like
announced officially.
I can give you within the next. I mean, to be realistic, let me say within the next 2 weeks.
All right.
Everything.
Ooh, okay.
Did you happen to see like my suggestions about like streamlining the process for yourself?
Streamlining the process for the competition you're talking
Yeah.
about? Did you DM me that?
Yeah.
I probably did. Did I respond?
No.
Oh, well then
Obviously not. Come on.
let me go back and check. I probably was like,
Yeah, you
okay, yeah,
should.
this seems good, and then I'll get back to it, and then I just forgot to get back to it. So yeah, I
Well, I'm way too
apologize
close.
for that.
Yeah, it's all good. And then the other question I had, you mentioned very briefly that you might play Elden Ring on stream, maybe? Are you still thinking about doing that or no?
I am. I'm thinking that could be like a summer project because I have a feeling it's going to take a while. Not only am I thinking about playing Elden Ring, but I am seriously thinking about doing a Let Me Solo Her ASMR video. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Are you familiar with that?
Are you gonna put the bucket on your head again?
I have a bucket. I have the samurai swords. I will not be shirtless, obviously, but I'll have a robe on or something because I'll be in between battles, right? So for those of you who don't know, Let Me Solo Her is apparently like someone you can summon to fight one of the really difficult bosses in Elden Ring. It is another player who will come into your game and defeat one of these really difficult bosses for you. And everybody is so grateful to this person that there's like there are like shrines to this person's existence and 3D printout models of his character and all kinds of fan art. And so I wanted to jump on that. Haven't been able to do it yet. And now that I've said it, probably never going to happen. But yes, as far as the Elden Ring playthrough, I'm thinking this summer. I'm thinking probably May, starting in May.
All right. Yep, those were my questions
Um,
for you.
I actually did have one question about the stream. If it's okay.
Go for it.
Okay. So I was like, actually thinking about this like while I was calling, which is how I'm gonna hang up, just like this.
Ooh, that was not slick. That wasn't slick.
It's like when you bash into a door trying to make a quick exit.
And now what happens is,
Inverts camera.
bam.
Now my face is way too close to the camera. That's disgusting.
That was me hanging up on Indigo.
Oh, snap. Someone who hung up on her?
Well, she was about to hang up on us.
Well, true. But also, it's like, you announce it?
Well, otherwise people will think she just hung up and that she won. This time, we won.
Sailor
We
is
did
petty.
We did.
I'm a little petty.
Go
That is a
the
little
dark
petty.
side, and I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm like, no! You were the chosen one, Anakin. Why would you betray us? Betraying the master of the Jedi. No, it's Jedi. Yes, the Jedi, not the Siths. She would have joined the Siths. Yeah. Nonetheless.
You're talking Star Wars stuff. I'm lost.
I mean, did you not watch Star Wars when it came out?
Sure, of course I did. I watched it in the theater. The first movie when it came out, I saw in the theater.
I watched a school bus, a pop-up school bus that my brother and I would just sit in, marathoning all of those movies. It was like one of those,
pop-up
tents.
school bus.
Yeah, it's like those fabric tents that was like in the shape of a school bus. It had
Oh,
like the
yes, I know what you're talking about.
blanket fort and just marathon the movies on the weekends, every weekend for a while.
Oh, well, yeah, that's awesome. But no, I'm talking about like when it actually was first released. I was alive.
Yeah.
When that movie was released.
Yeah. And Indigo was born after 9/11 was released, which is wild to me.
It's kind of wild to like even refer to 9/11 as something that was released.
I mean, am I wrong? I mean, like, granted, the words are uncommon to use, but objectively,
Unleashed?
am I wrong?
Unleashed upon the world,
Premiered,
debuted,
undisclosed,
dig the hole deeper.
let out, uncaged. I mean, dare I say, even X-rated, but that's just perhaps 3 steps too far.
Yeah, maybe. So stream, the extravaganza, whatever we're gonna call it, within 2 weeks. Q, I promise. And I will get back to you on whatever the specifics were. I think it was just like, I think you had, if I'm remembering correctly, like you had an idea of like what maybe some of the rules could be or the criteria or something.
Just streamlining the process for you accepting it.
It was a bit of a mess last year.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give you suggestions to alleviate that. So.
And also, Q, I had a quick question for you. In the stream that happened a couple days ago, like, was that one person? Do you have any idea? Like, was that one person that was bombarding chat? Or
I don't know for sure, but I have a pretty good inkling that was one person, because I guess basically what you can do is, even if you get banned from YouTube chat, there's like an exploit where you can have like hundreds of accounts under one YouTube account and just switch to new ones and just keep
And
spamming.
it doesn't. When you ban an account, you would think it would ban the entire
It's not
account.
an IP ban.
Nope.
No, it's not
Huh.
an IP ban. It's not a parent account ban. It's only for that specific account under. Yeah. So I feel like that's the same person that does it every time that happens at one of the streams on your main channel, because it's the same shit every time.
Oh, it's the same
So
same message types of messages or same.
yeah, it's like the same kind of nonsense every single time. So there's not a lot we can do about it other than play whack-a-mole, basically, which sucks, but I don't know. They got bored because you put one of their stupid comments on the screen, and they're like, well, I got the attention I wanted by, and I was like, okay. So
I probably shouldn't have done that.
yeah, you know, feeding the trolls is usually a bad idea, but, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you have a master class in dealing with trolls that I don't understand. Couldn't tell you.
I don't know Jack about Jack. Okay. Well, thank you, Q, for calling in and obviously for everything that you do all the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I will get back to you soon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the Batman, but I'm going to try.
Well, it would be cool to have you. It is 3 hours, so that's...
Is it really 3 hours?
It's
Yeah.
like almost 3 hours, so...
Wow.
It is a time commitment, but we'll be playing it regardless this Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern. People want to drop in, watch it, that's cool. I'll be there.
Cool.
I'll be having a good time.
Thank you, Q. So I'll talk to you soon either way.
Yep. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me on.
Talk to you later.
Mm.
And then there were two. Oh, Indigo.
What happened with
Indigo
Indigo?
super chatted.
From. Is that emojis? As if
That's-
I could possibly see it on my phone. I'm gonna have to go on my laptop.
No, just sending a sick emoji, I think, because I hung up on them.
As you should be. She should be sick of you. The
Yeah.
disrespect is beyond tolerable. How dare you disrespect? If she wanted to hang up, you let her hang up on her own terms. That is all I will tolerate, and that is all that will ever be allowed.
But
Do you-
that's what she's done. She's done that like 3 times. I just wanted to win once.
That is her moment. She is the moment. When she hangs up, you are blessed because she just hung up on you. You literally just eviscerated a beautiful night where you could go to sleep thinking, damn, Indigo just hung up on me, and I have been blessed tonight. The blessing of being hung up on by Indigo. I mean, she has like 40,000 phones inside of her room. She literally came on the stream on a phone while holding another phone.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Maestro
She
of
had
hanging-
2 other phones that I saw.
Yes. She's a maestro of telephones. So when you get hung up, you know you're being properly, expertly, masterfully hung up. And
Well-
you just eviscerated that.
I'm very ungrateful. It may be the
Rip
fact that
that
I'm a
word.
narcissist.
You, me, and Q.
I apologize. I apologize to you. I apologize to Q. But most of all, I apologize to Indigo because clearly I was wrong. I don't think I was wrong. I think I'd do it again.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Disastrous.
So what are you up to, Angelica? What's channel wise? What's happening with you before we
Channel wise?
close out? Yeah. What are you doing? What do you have
I'm
planned?
making YouTube videos.
Say again.
I'm making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
On my channel. I sit in front of a camera
That's
and
all.
I
Okay.
just play. And then
You're being a smart ass.
that's my process.
Yeah. So, but no, like big plans in the works. Nothing. No giant.
What would qualify as a big plan though? Because it's like, I mean just like trying to play around and have fun with it, like a child playing with crafts boxes, just kind of like pecking here, pecking there, seeing what you can create and see how you can make it bigger and bigger and bigger, but nothing like actually like focused in or planned in as like a big project or whatever.
Do you ever have like ideas that you stew on for weeks, or is it basically like you have an idea and you execute?
I used to. When I had a little more control over life events, I used to have like ideas where I would plan it for like weeks and weeks, and I would like be like, no, I have to do that video idea. It's amazing. I got to do it. I got to do it. And then I would try to like think out exactly how I should do it, and like if there was wigs involved or costumes involved or a set involved, I would have to like build on that. But now it's more so like I'm getting back into that rhythm because it's been more so like a dog being like dragged by a leash when it came to my videos where I'm like, listen, I am being put through the ringer and I just need to not disappear the way a lot of people do for a couple of years. Like I'm just trying to avoid that.
Did you see Ali is back
Yeah,
too?
I did. I did. Me and another ASM artist ended up watching her return, and he was far more obsessed with her than I was. I liked her videos, but he was like emotionally connected with her. Like he
Hmm.
really like was invested in her life and in her content and in her work. And so when he was watching her, he was just like really happy, but he also had a bit of an existential crisis because he remembered how back in the day she was like referencing her son and how he was like 6 at the time and how
Yeah.
she never wanted to be on camera because he can't consent to that. And now the kid's like in high school and
Oh
he
my
was just
gosh, really?
like, yeah. And so he was just having like a mind bender because of it. And obviously that kind of like flew over my head because I was just like, I wasn't very well aware of her personal life. I would just watch her for the videos, but it was crazy. Like it's like the amount of time that's passed is insane. Like people saying that they have watched me since middle school and now they've graduated high school and that I haven't been on for as long as you have, or Ephemeral Rift, or Gentle Whispering, or ASMR Request, or Heather Feather, or Cute Bunny, like, or Olivia Kisper,
Yeah.
Tree, like all of these different people who have been on there for like 10 years, or at least close to going at, or more than 10 years. It's like they've seen pretty much an entire audience
Grow
age
up.
up.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because it's like you just started off in a very tightly knit community where there's no one watching.
And it
And now,
doesn't feel like it was that very long ago. Like it's
exactly,
another one of
there's
those things where it's
so
like,
much development. It's like,
yeah,
it's weird. It's weird.
it's
That being
probably,
said, I know that you stated that the way you got into ASMR was basically like someone sent you a link at work and you ended up clicking it and you ended up liking it and then you decided that you wanted to make videos as well. That being said, what how was like your mentality? How do you feel like you approached ASMR in that respect? Like do you feel like in what rhythm did you want to like make ASMR videos in comparison to how the majority were making them?
I didn't really think about it that way. I kind of thought about it like, um, I mean, I became obsessed with watching them, right? Like I was like, and it very quickly went to like, it was one of those things that I had no inkling of. Here's this thing that I didn't even know it existed. And then within like 6 months or a few months, it was something that I needed to fall asleep or I wouldn't be able to fall asleep, if I didn't
Yeah.
use it. So it was a pretty quick addiction that developed. And then it was just a matter of like, okay, well, Ephemeral Rift was doing like a lot of the things that I was like, oh, it'd be fun if you did this, it'd be fun if you did that. But Ephemeral Rift was already doing most of those things. Um, but it seemed like there was still a little room, maybe. Um, and what's weird is like, I feel like I was more excited about it when I had very little time to do it.
Yeah.
Like when I only had this window of like, I had to do it between like midnight and 2 a.m. or something, right? Like, I would look forward to that time, right? I would be like, sort of like, ooh, and as soon as that time would come, I would be in there doing it. And now, like, really, I have a lot more time in which I could be doing it. And the outcome of that is I'm not anywhere near disciplined enough to get anything done with um, any kind of cadence that would keep me relevant in any way. You know what I mean? Or at least give me a shot at like staying relevant, right? Like there's no guarantees, right? Um, but oh yes, that's right. Got to plug Indigo's situational audios channel. Go
Is
check
that
it
new
out.
or has she always had it?
She's had it for a while. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, I wish that I was more into it now, but it seems like you've been able to keep the motivation there, right? And you don't seem to run out of ideas, which is awesome because I definitely do.
I mean, that's the thing about you is that you're kind of like a patriarch. You're kind of like a well-respected figure within ASMR because you were always like the standard when it came to quality ASMR videos and really dedicating yourself to the craft of it, where it wasn't just like everyone was really top tier quality back in the day. Like it was Olivia Kisper's like plucking your brain cells, and there would be like all of these like strings, and then Heather Feather and all of her sets. But with you, it was like a cinematic masterpiece. Like it was like a whole movie, and that wasn't seen before. And now, obviously, with like Goodnight Moon and with um, Atlas ASMR and a bunch of other creators, Atmosphere,
Yeah.
like Cottage. It's like all of these people kind of stepped into that realm of like building a set. Pelagia, she's like so underrated, honestly.
What was that last one?
Pelagia or Pelagia, something like that. Pelagia.
Oh,
I don't.
yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's amazing. Amazing. I have loved her content. Granted, she doesn't really give me ASMR except for one video, which I have saved in my favorite ASMR playlist. However, her rest of her content, although it doesn't give me ASMR, I do recognize how much work and effort she put into the editing, into the creation, into her own style, like everything. Nonetheless, you were the one who were always referenced for having that like really high tier quality status. Um, and yeah, like I think I don't know if it's just my impression just because I came in that early, but I would find it really shocking if people nowadays, like newer people nowadays, who are in the community, didn't know who you were and didn't reference your work as being top tier.
Oh, definitely not. Like, I appreciate that.
Hey,
That what's that?
that would be really weird because it's like all of my friends within the community, we always reference your videos as being like the standard when it comes to really good, well-made videos.
I no, I appreciate that, but I feel like there was maybe a year like where that was maybe true, right? Before people who I think there was a vacuum, right? Like there was a period of time where there were not ASMR content creators who were also like obsessed with gear, right, and equipment. They were more obsessed with sounds, right, as they should be, right? So I just think there was like a little period in there where I was maybe uh, there weren't that many who were doing that. But like you said, or like there's a shit ton now who are way beyond anything that I ever did. Right?
I
Um,
mean, I have to stop you there. No. Like your Lighthouse video, your Joker video, like all of these videos that you've made are still the standard. Granted, you didn't put like as many elements to it as you have in some of the older videos, but regardless of, even the work where you don't go to that degree is still far above the cut. Like it's still really good and like impressionable or impressive rather, and impressionable. Um yeah, I can't really think of anyone who perhaps Made in France ASMR is the only one that I have seen re-blow my mind. Like that guy
yeah,
is
I
on another level
yeah,
amazing.
I've talked to him a few times, and he is just. I mean, he is a cinematographer, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like his actual job that he is doing, right? And just when I don't know if you've seen his behind the scenes stuff, but like he has, I mean, it looks like a dream. I would love to spend a day in his studio.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, and he does it all, right? Like he doesn't stop. He doesn't just get like one good looking set. He'll do like, I mean, he'll do an entire movie, right? It's pretty phenomenal, and he's funny as hell, and he has amazing Foley. He just ticks all the boxes, and I think he's like 24, 23.
That's wild.
He's a
That
young
is
guy. Um, yeah, we were talking at one point about doing a collab where he was going to do a time capsule, right, of him putting a time capsule in the ground, and
yeah.
then I would be him like
That
30
is
years in the
amazing.
future,
Bring
taking
that
the
like
time capsule out of the ground.
mhm.
So we would kind of bookend it. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. um,
I mean like it's a thing about thinking about collabing and it's another thing to actually do the collab. I think that the we'll see if you actually end up doing it or if he ends up actually doing it. But just the idea of it ever existing is so fascinating because that idea is brilliant. It's like the fact that Tim Burton almost directed Superman. It's like an idea like that, although, yeah,
Oh
he
my
never
God,
did
the
it.
fact that Nicolas Cage was almost Superman.
Yeah, and that Tim Burton was, yeah, it's like all of it. It's like the fact that that almost was a reality is so fascinating to know that even if they never did it anyways, it's still like a great thing to be like, well, damn, what would that actually be like?
It's interesting to think about. Um, I, yeah, yeah. And we talked about it like a little bit. There was a little bit of back and forth on, are we going to do this or not? And then it just kind of, petered off as things do, right? Which is why, I mean, I talk about stuff way too soon and too quickly, right before things get done, and then part of the excitement of doing a thing is talking about it. And so if I do the talk about it part, and then I've lost the excitement that motivates me to do the thing, all right. So, which is why I try not to talk about stuff, but I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have said anything about let me solo her, um,
I
because
think it's just
now
like,
what's that?
I think it's just like, I also have that complex where it's like, I feel like I lose value in my words if I talk about something and I never complete it or follow through with it. But I also think that perhaps it doesn't necessarily devalue my words. It rather just bolsters up my ideas, where it's like I'm clearly someone who has a very creative, idea driven mind. It's just practically speaking, I'm going to miss a lot of the opportunities that I'm given because I don't have the means or time or energy or mindset to get it done. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this brilliant idea or this really interesting, creative, fun idea still occurred to me or to the next person or the next person. And it's fun to talk about it and theorize about it.
Yeah, and use as maybe a jumping off point for some other idea, or maybe like a year from now or a year from when you had the idea, something else kind of manifests from it. I've certainly had like these things like sitting in the back of my head that, um, like misheard song lyrics sometimes that I'll turn into like things that I misinterpret, and then I feel like I can have some kind of objectivity on them because it feels like they didn't come from me. Whereas if I know it, it's like I'm tricking my own brain into trying to be objective about things that I'm thinking, which is a stupid it's a really stupid concept when you think about it. It's ridiculous.
You're
But
like repeating your own thoughts as it's coming out.
yeah, like so, like if you have an idea or you write something, right? Like maybe you can't be objective about it. Maybe
Mm.
I'm not saying you personally, but maybe a person can't be objective about it. But sometimes if I stumble upon an idea, or I get an idea because I misinterpreted what someone else was doing, and I see that and I'm like, oh man, that was a great idea. And that's not actually what they were doing. Then I know that my initial reaction to it was, that was a great idea. Even though now that I realize it wasn't their idea, it was my misinterpretation of their idea. Um, I still know that at one point I liked it. Right.
Yeah.
So then even if like the doubter in me isn't like, well, maybe this isn't such a great idea. It's like, no, you liked it when you first heard it, when you didn't know where it came from, you liked it. So now you're not allowed to change your mind just because now it's your idea or something,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
That's where you stand on the shoulders of giants and recognize that the collective is always going to stand because it's like we all build off from one another. We all need each other to kind of think and extrapolate and come up with new things. Like no one can just exist in a vacuum and then create a masterpiece or think of something original because it's like that's not how we operate. And shaming one another for it is, or trying to capitalize or try to copyright it or try to like basically confine it into like this boundary is not what humanity's about.
I get a sense that you might be thinking about something like Creep and the
Yeah,
Hollies and Lana
yeah,
Del Rey or something.
yeah. I lost a lot of respect for Radiohead because of that one. I was like, your guys are kind of full of shit for this one. Because, like, it was like Tom Petty. Like, the Strokes ripped him off a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit? Like, music is music. Like, no one owns a chord progression. No one owns a set of lyrics. Like, you just create what you want to create. And that's it. And if you resonate with something twice, then that's more of a tip to the hat or an ode or something to be respected. Because they took inspiration from you. Granted, Oscar Wilde was all like, was it Oscar Wilde who said that inspiration is an insult? Nonetheless. But when it came to Radiohead, he was like, we own this song, we own this chord progression, but it's like you ripped off Creep from the Hollies, and now you think you own a song that you already ripped off from someone else, and now you're trying to sue Lana Del Rey for doing exactly what it was that you did to the Hollies. Like, no, you're full of shit. And for that reason, I cannot stand that band. Granted, I like their music, but still cannot stand it.
I don't know the only thing about that that I wonder about is, was it actually the members of Radiohead who had, because sometimes like you have to sue, right? Like there's that thing, like if you don't sue, then you lose any ability to protect your own work in the future. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there's some weird thing with copyright law where if, and I don't know enough to speak to it, but I know it's happened a couple times that I've read where it's been like, okay, if they did not sue, literally like anyone could just use Radiohead's song in a movie without having to pay them anything, and they could cite this as precedent.
Mm.
So, but like especially in the case of Creep, like it's such a simple chord progression. It's a simple melody. It's just like, man, maybe if somebody ripped off note for note, like a
Straight to
sort of,
heaven.
so,
Although,
well, that was ripped off too, right? Like Led
like all of
Zeppelin,
Led Zeppelin, pretty much all of Led Zeppelin's discography was ripped off from folk and blues artists
right,
who were
right.
died unknown.
But I, where you draw the line then, like on plagiarism, right? Like there has to be something, it has to be there somewhere, but I
I
don't know
think
where.
Year's approach to it, where it's like, although yeah, he takes a lot of inspiration from different like folk and blues and
Whose
classical
approach?
rock. Hosier.
Okay, yeah.
It's like he takes a lot of inspiration from artists from back in the day, and he clearly is very much like, kind of like he takes a lot of like license with it. But he still references them. Like he's always giving them a platform. He's always inviting them onto his songs. He's always like trying to get them back into the folds. Like he really he credits them and he gears a lot of attention their way and tries to like bolster them up, because if you take credit, or if you take inspiration from someone, you want to cite who it was that inspired you, because you want to make sure that people understand that you're standing once again on the shoulders of giants. But if you end up pretending like, no, it is I, like the kind of Moses complex where it's like, I was the one who ended up making this water fall from the mountain,
Yeah, like
end up being
fucking
egotistical.
that
And
asshole Paul McCartney who was like, I just woke up and yesterday was just there. What a dick that guy.
sure,
Pretend, you can pretend I didn't see him.
listen, Paul McCartney was touched by the divine. He was touched by the religious. Anything that man says, I believe 1,000%. 1,000%. He could say that the sky is red. I'm like, of course it is. Paul, who would deny you? Who said it was blue? Of course, Paul.
The sky is red. That's a great Leprous song.
Yes, I want tacos. So I'm going to be hanging up now.
Okay.
I want to get tacos. So it's been a fun conversation. Everything's been going swell, as always. And good night.
But Angelica, I didn't even. That wasn't fair. Well, yeah, it has been 2 hours and 40 minutes. And wow, I could not have predicted where this was going to go. But thank everybody for hanging out. And I will see you all next week. And I promise that there will be writing extravaganza. Maybe not next week, but by the week after for sure. And we'll figure it out from there. All right. I'll talk to y'all later.